After bailout talks with the White House fell through, well, now employees are out of work and thousands of travelers are stranded.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is blaming this on the Biden administration, who blocked a proposed Spirit-JetBlue merger in 2024.
This merger should have been allowed. And this today would indicate this is not better for travelers. This is not better for pricing. This is not better for competition. Actually, it's worse.
This all comes after years of financial issues for Spirit. It filed for bankruptcy multiple times. President Trump trying to figure out a bailout, but the deal failed. And now with the war in Iran, Spirit says the sudden rise in fuel prices left them with no other choice than to shut down.
Fox's Madison Scarpino. Now in the aftermath, other airlines are rolling out rescue fares and discounted tickets to help affected travelers rebook their trips. They're also creating dedicated hiring sites for Spirit employees. Talks between the U.S. and Iran are continuing, even as the ongoing U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz leaves oil tankers stranded.
President Trump says the blockade will remain until Iran makes nuclear concessions and reopens the Strait of Hormuz. He's also threatened to resume airstrikes, ending the ceasefire. In the Arabian Sea, MH-60 Sierras have been taking part in boarding operations, enforcing the 3-week-old blockade during the ceasefire. The U.S. Military Central Command says 48 ships have now been turned away. Others remain pierside in Iran or at anchor. But over 150 other oil tankers remain stuck in the Gulf, helping drive gasoline prices back home to 4-year highs. Fertilizer shipments also being impacted, hurting farmers back home.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. As far as ending the war with Iran goes, President Trump remains skeptical about a deal coming together. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Tonight, expect clouds to increase. The temperature will drop to 44. Moving into Sunday, there will be a passing shower in the morning, with the rest of the day being mostly cloudy and breezy. The high will reach 66. Sunday night will bring mostly clear skies with a low of 48. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hey, sorry to hear your mom passed away.
Thanks.
A lot of work to do settling her assets?
Actually, she prepared a living trust. Makes this process simple.
Yeah, I set up a will for my kids. Should make it easy.
Well, unless your assets are small, your kids will have to go to court to settle your will.
So, where do I get a living trust?
Nauman and Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee. No surprises.
Nauman and Associates in Elk Grove Village?
That's right. NALawGroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus.
Give me an extra large deep dish pepperoni.
Hasselus doesn't sell pizza. We sell mattresses for way less.
Do I need a coupon?
No, sir. Others sell a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Queen Elm Cove A mattress for $1,459. But Hasselus has it for just $794.
Running any specials?
Through Monday, save an additional $248 on a new Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic just for shopping local.
Do you deliver?
Free next day delivery.
I'm really hungry.
Hasselus.com.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results. Done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com. And schedule your free in-home consultation today.
The first Top Shelf Country Cruise promised big, and it delivered. Now the bar's set. If you were there, you know. If you weren't, it's time to get on board. Set sail aboard the Celebrity Summit in March 2027, where laid-back luxury meets country fun. We're talking toes in the sands of Bimini, fun in the sun in Key West and Cozumel, live band karaoke, trivia, bingo, and performances from Riley Green, Chris Young, Lauren Elena, Randy Hauser, and more. Lock in your cabin now at TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
AM 560, The Answer. Prepare to have your mind opened. The lies of the mainstream media are about to be exposed, and the hypocrisy of the left is about to be revealed. This is a revolution in how you think about politics, race, and culture. You've tuned into Black and Right with John Anthony.
I'm coming in hot.
Welcome to Black and Right, the John Anthony Show. I am guest hosting for Mr. John Anthony today. My name is David Seaton, and I have been on Chicago radio for 7 years, and I am so glad, so privileged that John Anthony gave me the opportunity to guest host for him today. Don't forget to check out his book, Letters to John Boy. You can order that book on Amazon.com. You want to make sure and check that out. It is a great read. We've got a great show for you today. In the 6 o'clock hour, we're going to be having a conversation with former Superintendent of CPD, Eddie Johnson, about just the rampant violence that is occurring in the city of Chicago. Just recently, we had a Walgreens that closed in Chatham. And you've got Anthony Hall and you've got some of the alders that are going out and raising their fists and saying to these companies, how dare you leave the good people of Chicago? There's a deeper reason and a trend line that we're following this year. We see violence is up. There's no one better that we could have this conversation with other than Eddie Johnson. In the 5 o'clock hour, you don't want to miss that. Christian Maxwell. She is going to be running, or she is running. She received the Republican nomination, and she's running against Jonathan Jackson in CD1. And I've had the privilege of interviewing her a few times on my actual YouTube channel, The David Seaton Show there. Had several opportunities to interview her, and I actually participated in a round table last weekend that was at Pastor Corey Brooks' church. And it was, again, my first time meeting her in person, and she's just as impressive in person as she is, when I've interviewed her either on the radio or on my YouTube channel. But first, I do want to introduce our first guest that is joining us. Everyone in Chicago knows this man. He's known throughout the country, and I couldn't think of a better person to have a conversation with about what's going on with these crazy gas prices. I actually went and filled up my tank yesterday, and I had to pay $6.09 per gallon. I don't think I've ever paid that much for a gallon of gas. But joining us on the live line, our first guest this afternoon, Mr. Paul Vallas. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
No, not at all. It's always a pleasure. You and I have spoken so many times, I can't even count it, on previous radio interviews and on my YouTube channel. So again, it's really a pleasure for you to join us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Let me go ahead and play some sound for you because I don't know if you just heard me. Mm-hmm. I went to the gas station yesterday and filled up my tank. Gas was $6.09 a gallon. Now, granted, that was premium, but we've seen the price of gas go through the roof. A lot of it has to do with what's going on in Iran right now. Let me play this sound and then get your opinion on the other side.
Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us now with more on all of this. Nancy, good morning. How is the president addressing gas prices? It's the most direct way viewers and voters feel the changes in the economy.
Errol, good morning. He is claiming that there is going to be a rapid drop in gas prices, even though they are now at their highest point since mid-2022. And that's even before we get into the summer months when gas prices tend to get more expensive anyway.
The gasoline, the oil will go down rapidly as soon as the war is over.
Even as gas prices shot up Thursday, President Trump promised relief.
As soon as the war's over, it'll drop like a rock. There's so much of it.
But U.S. gas prices have been climbing for 9 straight weeks, from an average of $2.98 a gallon in late February to $4.39 a gallon now. In Indiana, the price per gallon is up more than $1 in just 1 week.
Paul, the price of gas through the roof. What's your opinion on how that is going to, what does that portend for November in the midterms? Especially with, again, I think Donald Trump had a pretty good, he was, better than average in terms of his support. But these gas prices is hurting him and the Republican Party.
Yeah, well, definitely. Look, I think the Republicans are probably going to lose the House, and there's a chance they could lose the Senate too. And then we'll have to live with 2 years of the Democrats trying to impeach Trump, and so we'll have a government stalemate. I think, I believe that Trump recognizes that Iran is an existential threat, and he wants to go in and he wants to finish the job. I mean, the bottom line is they have been, it's really interesting, if you can indulge me for a second. But, the so-called Obama, agreement with Iran really allowed Iran to keep an infrastructure for rapidly developing a bomb while not enriching uranium. It's almost like you let them build a race car, but you didn't let them, but they promised not to put gas in it. And of course, meanwhile, what did they stockpile? 2,000, 3,000 missiles, mid-range missiles that were buried underground that could hit European capital. And for those who think that the Strait of Hormuz crisis is a recent crisis, they have threatened to close the straits time and time again. They've had the Houthis on occasion shelling tankers in the Gulf, so they've always used that as a strong point, as a stranglehold. So, the question here is, are we willing to endure some higher gas prices and let the Trump administration finish the job? Because Iran is an existential threat. They are a threat to their neighbors. They are a threat to us. Everybody says we're there because of Israel. Iran has been at war with us. Israel is just in their way. It has always been an obstacle for not only Iran dominating the Middle East, but also China and Russia. So
no, I think that's a great point. I mean, Iran has been saying or chanting death to America at this point for up to 60 years. So I reject this, this opinion from the far left that, this is just, the administration trying to manufacture a reason to go into Iran. We know that they have proxies and that they use their proxies for terrorism, throughout the Middle East. And Iran has really shown their hand. They've been attacking their neighbors pretty much indiscriminately. That said, even with that being the case, there is going to be a political price that's going to be paid because.
I think what Trump has decided to do in his second term is to pay that political price to do something that they should have done 10, 20, 30 years ago. And when he says if they are, if they are successful in neutralizing Iran, or for that matter even regime change, trust me, he's absolutely right. The price of oil, the energy costs will plummet. But he's gonna. I hope he finishes the job. I'm even more hawkish on that intervention than I was, obviously, some of his supporters are. So at the end of the day,
what they just said though, but it's important to remember. Like I said, I just paid $6.09 per gallon of gas yesterday. We haven't even gotten into the summer months where in Chicago they switch over to that summer blend, quote unquote. I mean, we are seeing some places in Chicago where a gallon of gas is up to $7. I can tell you in my personal experience, I've only ever seen prices that high in California. Yeah. I don't know how tenable that's going to be for the average American when they have to pay that much money, not to mention how it's going to impact diesel costs, and then that's going to spill over into the trucking industry. It's going to impact prices at the grocery store. I mean, this is a cascading effect. I just wonder if the administration really thought this out about what would be kind of the unintended immediate consequences.
Yeah, I'm not sure to what degree they did, but there was no doubt any attempt to neutralize Iran, anything short of regime change, was going to result in them trying to close the Gulf. And the question here is, the biggest problem, look, they have no incentive right now. They're going to wait Trump out because they figure the Europeans, whom we've been carrying militarily for the last 50 years. So while they've built their welfare state, they've been able to do that because we've been providing we've been providing their defense. I mean, London or England used to have the world's greatest navy before World War II, and now what do they have? I mean, They couldn't even. They had a problem sending one destroyer to the to the Gulf. Germany, I mean, Poland has a bigger army than Germany. I mean, it's just an absolute joke. We've been literally carrying Europe, and yet Iran is a
Hold that thought right there, Paul. I've got a hard break coming up. Everybody out there listening, give us a call at 312-642-5600. That number again, 312-642-5600. We need you to be part of this conversation. You're listening to Black and Right. I am David Seaton filling in for John Anthony. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Scott Jennings doesn't see the president bending.
There is no way that they're going to get, they still want it, and they made that clear the other night. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
This is his red line, his most important goal, to stop the avowed enemy of the United States, run by religious fanatics who chant death to America, from acquiring nuclear weapons.
The Scott Jennings Show, weekdays at noon, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
In today's fast-paced world, professionals face endless projects, deadlines, competition. To thrive, you need mental clarity, sharp focus, and reliable memory. That's why the same company that brings you Relief Factor created Think Factor. Think Factor is designed to help you think clearer and perform better daily. It's a powerful blend of nutrients that supercharges your memory and sharpens your focus. You can stay on top of your work and outshine the competition. After a couple of weeks of taking Think Factor, I noticed a dramatic difference in my clarity, my focus, even my memory. And you know what? The longer you take Think Factor, the better the results are. If you've ever felt mentally foggy or struggled to keep up with everything on your plate, well, Think Factor can help you reclaim your cognitive edge and thrive in your life. Call 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF, or visit ReliefFactor.com to order Think Factor. Call 800-4RELIEF or visit ReliefFactor.com. Your first bottle, just $19.95. Think Factor. Think clearer, perform better daily.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Here's a tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till GoodRx wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Hotfoot it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Black and Right continues. Once again, here's John Anthony.
Welcome back. You are listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, and I am filling in today, guest hosting for John Anthony. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Don't forget, check out his book, Letters. What is it? Letters to John Boy. Letters to John Boy that you can pick up on Amazon. Paul Vallis is joining us on the live line, but before I pick you back up, Paul, I've got to take this call from Philip. Let's see. Philip, am I trying to pick him up? There he is. Philip, thanks for calling Black and Right.
Hi, everybody, and to your guests. I had to call in because I'm always hearing, and even during the break, there was a commercial, whatever it was, or advertisement for another talk host who was talking about death to America. This phrase that has America has created to pump fear into the American people. When it's always talking about, especially in this instance where you're talking about Iran has been talking about death to America, or Muslims talk about death to America, or however you want to phrase it. It's just a turnaround from when Iraq was to say death to America, or America was to say we're going to try to weapons of mass destruction, or any other type of excuse they used to go in to, like in Iraq. And the fact that America, since 1945, has literally bombed at least 40 different countries, starting with Japan. We don't even want to imagine that happening again. But America.
Well, Philip, hold on right there. Wait, hold on right there. You said a lot. So, I mean, you're going all over the place. You're saying the United States has bombed over 40 countries. I would venture to say that the reason why the world is as safe as it is because of United States international intervention. And as far as us bombing Japan, we did that in response to them bombing Pearl Harbor.
To them bombing Pearl Harbor.
Correct.
Okay. See, this is, and you think, okay, actually, let me calm down. You actually think that America, just like when you talk about Hamas going into Israel and doing this thing to this camp or this party or whatever it was, you don't think that Israel knew that Hamas was about to do that? See,
I don't work for Israeli intelligence, so I can't speak to what they know.
Never said that. Never said anything.
Well, you just said, did I know? And I'm just saying there'd be no way that I can know what Israel knew.
Okay, so how could you know that the United States did not know Japan was? How is it possible that Japan could bomb Pearl Harbor and the U.S. not know?
Okay, Philip, I got to drop you right there, brother. You're showing your ignorance. The bombing of Pearl Harbor happened in the 40s. That was a kamikaze mission. What you just said that the United States should have known it. That's completely ignorant. Paul, jump in.
Yeah, let me make a comment. God, we're going to relitigate World War II. I mean, the bottom line is we saved Europe twice from the Germans, and the second time against a real genocidal regime, which was Adolf Hitler. But did you know that the Japanese probably slaughtered more individuals in China with their occupation of Manchuria?
Absolutely.
Than Hitler did.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day.
And that's what I reject. I'm glad you said that, Paul. I reject this narrative, this revisionist history that everyone looks back and talks about how evil the United States is. If we had not ended World War II, we might be speaking Japanese or German today. Again, people, I think it really just shows the ignorance of history that people don't really appreciate how evil, and I'm going to use that word specifically, how evil the Nazi Empire was and how vicious the Japanese Empire was. You look at a map and you see this island of Japan. But again, we don't have to relitigate World War II. But what we can say is that the peace and the prosperity that we experience as a globe generally and as a country specifically is a function of our military might, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Look, let me, in deference to your caller, we've been involved in some wars that we should have never been involved in.
Sure.
I mean, the Vietnam War of nationalism. I mean, we were so at that time, obviously, paranoid and threatened by China, et cetera, that we saw every nationalistic movement as part of this international communist conspiracy. Let me point out that after the Vietnam War ended for us, Vietnam actually fought about a 6-month war with China and slapped the Chinese so hard they never went to Vietnam again. I mean, nobody learned not to tangle with the Vietnamese. or for that matter, look, I mean, I was sick when we attacked Iraq. Clearly, I mean, Cheney's probably burning in hell right now for getting us involved in the Iraq war, in that extended stay in Afghanistan, a war that my son fought in and lost colleagues in. It was an absolute disaster. There were no weapons of mass destruction,
Sure.
etc. But sure. Iran is a different situation. I mean, Iran has been behind. I think it's and you can Google this. 360 incidents in 40 different countries in which they've either assassinated or attempted to assassinate people. They've killed, over 3,000 American soldiers or American civilians over the 47 years that we've been in conflict with them.
Sure.
They have literally enslaved half their population. They're talking about gender apartheid. I mean, at the end of the day, look, they slaughtered 40,000 people who went out and protested in the streets. They're executing people left and right. This is a brutal medieval regime, and which was close to producing nuclear weapons, and literally had stockpiled thousands of missiles that they just happened to be firing on all of their neighbors. So they are an existential threat, and Trump is taking a big risk, and he's just taking a big risk, and the only ones who can defeat us is really the political left. I mean, Iran is emboldened over the fact that you've got the Europeans sitting on their thumbs, or you have Germany basically bad-mouthing the United States and claiming that we're losing in Iran, or for that matter, the Democrats in Congress, trying to handcuff Trump. They're just the Iranian regime wants to survive. And a lot of people say they want to survive because they're these fanatics. They want to survive because they know that if there is regime change there's going to be an accounting, and all those individuals who have been running that country and making decisions. The Iranian people, the Persians, and that's who the Iranians are. They're going to hold them accountable. So they're trying to survive because they realize that there's going to be consequences. Let me jump in. For them,
hold on one second, Paul. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
I got to grab this call really quickly. I want to pick up Karen.
Sorry.
Karen on line 2. Karen, Peter, can you pick up Karen for me? I'm trying to pick her up. Let me see.
Hello.
Karen, thanks for the call.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you, David, because listening and following you is making many of us more intelligent. Because right now, many of us are failing because of sincere ignorance. Number one, I am very proud of what Trump is doing, regardless of how many people are worried about the gas. Before every mountain, there's valleys. We need somebody who understands the business of America. And regardless of whatever America has done, we live here. So we need someone to take a stand, to do the things that everybody else is sugarcoating. That's number one. Number two, the book that John Anthony has written, I want anyone that can hear my voice to please get that book. Please read that book, because right now I'm dealing with the same situation that John Anthony went through. If we must save our children, you all, this book is profound. This book makes us look at our own households. It is time for us to become intelligent and understand that America is a business, whether we like it or not. And other people are in this country making tons of money from this business, and at the same time wanting to destroy it. Go ask how many people that went out to march the other day. How many of them are business owners? I'll wait. Not a lot of them. Hey, David, do your thing. I love you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, John Anthony. Bye.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate the call. You know what? We're coming up on another hard break. So when we get on the other side, because we've got some more calls, okay. But I do want to explore this a little bit more, because Spirit Airline just came out today. They said that they were trying to negotiate a $500 million bailout or loan from the White House. That was unsuccessful. And as of today, they canceled every flight. They fired 17,000 people, and they are attributing the demise of their corporation. They're tying it directly to these gas prices that have shot up. Jet fuel prices that have shot up as a function of what's going on in Iran. Everyone, don't go anywhere. You're listening to Black and Right. I am David Seaton filling in for John Anthony. We're going to take this break, and we'll be right back.
Mike Gallagher doesn't see another option.
Eric Swalwell, who's been accused of sexual assault by a number of women, dropped out of the gubernatorial race in California. Well, they can't possibly think he should be able to serve in Congress. I haven't heard a single Democrat call for him to resign from Congress. How can you have that both ways?
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want the federal government to toss them a lifeline now that Spirit Airlines is out of business. They say soaring fuel prices are making it hard to operate. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
I would say that at this point, I don't think it's necessary. They do have access to cash. If they want to come to the U.S. government, we would be a lender of last resort.
Stranded travelers are trying to make arrangements on other airlines. A Fox News report says crime in the U.S. hit its lowest level in decades.
We took the most dangerous, unsafe, violent, and open border in the world, and anywhere in the world, there's no border like this, and created the most secure border in U.S. history with zero illegal aliens.
And President Trump at an event in Florida. America's listening to Fox News.
What do you see? A duck or a rabbit?
Ben?
Look here. Do you see a vase or two faces looking at each other?
What are you doing?
Showing some of my favorite optical illusions.
Why?
To introduce our newest sofa.
Ah, yes. The new Russell apartment sofa.
Penny Mustard's greatest optical illusion yet.
How so?
The Russell appears to be the perfect pint-sized sofa to fit any small living space.
Yeah?
But behold, 3 adults can still easily sit together without feeling cramped.
No way.
Oh, ye of little faith. Arvid, you sit on this side of me.
Okay.
And Nicole, you sit here.
Fine.
See?
Wow, you're right. This sofa doesn't look big enough to hold all of us.
But it does.
It's pretty comfortable, too.
Seeing is believing.
You know this is radio, right?
Just squint your ears, you'll see it.
The new Russell apartment sofa, starting at $20.81 at Penny Mustard. 6 Chicagoland showrooms. PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
The Stephanie Trussell Show speaks to the heart of where you live, work, and raise your family. Every week, Stephanie brings you the conversations that matter most, from our local neighborhoods to the halls of Springfield, covering the local issues and the real solutions. Stephanie sits down with the local leaders, candidates, and everyday heroes who are fighting to make Illinois a place you're proud to call home. Stephanie is your community, your voice. The Stephanie Trussell Show, heard Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. right here on AM 560, The Answer.
The price of gold is surging to new highs. It's already topped $5,000 an ounce. The only question is, how much money will you make when gold hits $6,000 an ounce? Investors like you have made small fortunes off the run-up in precious metals, and not just with gold stocks or ETFs. Many have taken advantage of a little-known gold investment officially released by the U.S. government. Now you can too, when you get our free special report from veteran trader and investor Jim Woods. It's called Gold Wealth Boosters. This new report outlines amazing gold investments that have returned 12 to 26 times more than investing in gold bullion itself. Given the uncertainty in world markets, the investments outlined in Jim Wood's Gold Wealth Boosters report are crucial in 2026, and it's free. To get your free Gold Wealth Boosters report, log on to EagleGoldReport.com. EagleGoldReport.com. That's EagleGoldReport.com.
Here's a tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till GoodRx wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I'd put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? How much should you take out and when? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor, Nolan Webster. Let's work together to make sure your finances meet your unique needs over the long haul. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Call me at 224-801-6107 to schedule an appointment. That's 224-801-6107. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's the show the mainstream media doesn't want you to know about. It's Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. You are listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton. I am guest hosting today for John Anthony. Don't forget to check out his book, Letters to John Boy. You can order that on Amazon. And I want to give a shout out and thank you for listening on AM 560 here in Chicago and also in Detroit, AM 1400 and 92.7. Paul Vallas is joining us, and we're having this conversation about what's going on in the economy right now as a function of or an outgrowth of what we're seeing in the conflict with Iran. Paul, let me pick up Eduardo. He's been holding for a minute. Eduardo, thanks for the call. Eduardo.
Good afternoon, David and Paul.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's good to hear you, David. Hopefully you'll be on the air once again.
Thank you.
So here in Tampa Bay, we're in the low 420s. And it was under 3 before Iran started. And I got a question for you guys. Keeping that in mind, we had this Supreme Court ruling with the gerrymandering. How do you figure that in the decision as far as the voters' mind, as far as who might come out on top, if that's even going to help? I don't think it'll help that much because of the gas prices, but they might be able to salvage one of the houses, one of the chambers.
Are you talking about the Republicans salvaging it or the Democrats?
Yeah, kind of like holding on to the Senate because of the gerrymandering.
Sure.
How do you or Paul think that might favor the incumbent party?
No, thanks for the call, Eduardo. Paul, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to have a big impact, at least not immediately. I think the impact is going to be longer term. So, I think the gas prices clearly are going to hurt Trump. I think he was already at risk of losing the House. It is an off-year election. They didn't have a large majority, obviously, but I think the Senate is at risk. But he's playing the long game here, and he certainly not has indicated a willingness to take the risk. But I want to make a comment because now everything is going to be blamed on higher gas prices. And look, I will tell you, I'm a lifelong Democrat, but I've always viewed Iran as an existential threat, and I've always felt that ultimately there was going to be a confrontation, and I always prayed that it occurred before, like North Korea, they had nuclear weapons, in which case they could have checkmated Europe and, for that matter, any other potential adversary out there. So at the end of the day, he's going to try to finish the job, and the only thing that can keep him from finishing the job is being undercut. So, so look, I know higher gas prices clearly take their toll, but we've got to think about the long game. And if that regime does fall, particularly with Maduro out in Venezuela, because Venezuela was turning into a prime source of oil to China, and so they were undercutting and underpaying the market anyway. And of course now, once they ramp up Venezuelan oil production, Venezuela is like second or third in the world in terms of oil reserves and elsewhere. I mean, the prices could come tumbling down, but the American public sometimes is not that patient. But I want to make one comment because somebody talked about JetBlue, and I'm about Spirit. Now they're going to say, oh, Spirit collapsed because of high oil prices, because that's the way the media is playing it.
That's what Spirit said. That's what Spirit said.
Yeah, but I just need to remind people that the Biden administration, the Department of Justice, if you remember,
they prevented the merger. Yes.
That's right, and they systematically. So ultimately, Spirit was on the verge of collapsing anyway. I think the higher oil prices put them over. But the bottom line is they're on their way. They were on their way to shutting down anyway because they blocked the merger, arguing that it was going to hurt consumers and et cetera. And they it will create a monopoly, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there's enough blame.
You are absolutely correct. It is appropriate for us to blame the Democratic side, to blame the Biden administration. The Department of Justice did not allow that merger with JetBlue and Spirit to go through, and they used as their justification that they didn't want to create a monopoly and they didn't want they wanted to be prices to be fair. But now you've got one of the probably 1 to 3 low cost providers that's gone. So them trying to say that they're trying to hold prices down blew up in their face, because now you've got Spirit that's going to be filing bankruptcy, and you've got 17,000 their employees who are going to lose their jobs, and you have hundreds of thousands of flights and people who are going to travel for business or for personal. They no longer have that option. So I agree with you that the Democrats could have saved Spirit had they not been so beholden to this far left ideology. Before we go to the next break, let me pick up Michael. Michael, thanks for the call.
David, thanks for taking my call. My best to you and your loved ones.
Thank you.
Thank you for subbing for John Anthony today. I've listened to you previously on your former radio station, and I have listened to your broadcast, and you are a man with great insights, and you speak truth. And in addition, you're also a man of courage. So I really thank you for joining the WIND family.
Hey, Michael, thank you for that call. And just so everyone knows, I did not pay Michael to call and say that. Just so you know. Well, Paul, we got to take a quick break, everybody. You're listening to Black and Right. I am David Seaton, filling in for John Anthony. Don't go anywhere. We want to give us a call, 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. We'll be right back.
This Mother's Day, give mom something that shines as bright as she does. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. Roland's Jewelers is the perfect place for a gift to make Mother's Day unforgettable. Roland's has such a beautiful selection of jewelry, and I'm a longtime customer of Roland's. I love this place, and I want you to make mom feel truly special with a stunning Simon G necklace, a Roberto coin bracelet to match her style, or sparkling diamond stud earrings. I love that Roland's is family-owned, and I appreciate their expertly trained sales specialists. Roland's will help you find that perfect gift, because mom deserves jewelry she'll cherish forever. Visit Roland's Jewelers, downtown Libertyville, or RolandsJewelers.com. That's ROLLANDS, RolandsJewelers.com. Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust this Mother's Day, like I do. RolandsJewelers.com, or call them 847-918-7300, 847-918-7300, Roland's Jewelers.
Your dog and a stranger are drowning. You can only save one. Who do you choose? Dennis Prager says your answer reveals everything about how you define right and wrong. In his new book, If There Is No God, Prager exposes the danger of emotion-based morality and why, without objective truth, society descends into chaos. This isn't a religious book. It's a rational case for moral clarity in a confused age. If There Is No God, from Dennis Prager. Order now at PragerStore.com.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long, not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear, hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my daily email. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, step by step. Or call me right now at 312-664-6649. Act now before the IRS acts first.
I remember sitting in the kitchen, heartbroken, overwhelmed, staring at costs and a list of decisions. I prayed for strength and reached out to Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, only to hear that Mom had already pre-planned everything so my siblings and I would be protected. Because she planned ahead, we weren't pulled apart by heartbreaking decisions.
Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5407 to schedule a free consultation.
This is Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, and I am filling in guest hosting for John Anthony. Again, thank you for the opportunity, brother. Make sure you go to Amazon and check out his book, The Letters to John Boy. Make sure you check it out. And thanks to everyone who's listening in Chicago at AM 560 and in Detroit at AM 1492.7. Paul Vallis is joining us on the live line. Let me pick up Jim from South Elgin. Jim, thanks for calling.
Well, it's good to hear you on the other side of the dial here, my friend.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, good luck. I also I was going to make a comment about that JetBlue merger. A friend of mine's a pilot for them, and he was very disappointed they didn't go through. And also, Sean Thompson did a great analogy on that during that time about 4 years ago when that was going on. The Democrats, we're all like you said, we're going to have a monopoly, and that's all garbage. And I think too, the gas prices will come down as soon as this Iran thing is done. I just tell people, do not sell Trump short. He knows what he's doing. He's got the world behind him, and I think it's a temporary pause. And I also think there's a little bit of gouging going on as well, just like when they had the gas shortages in past times.
No, those are all great points all. I appreciate the call, Jim. Thanks for checking in from South Elgin. He brings up an interesting point, Paul, and again, that's why I left. I'm going to be honest. I left the Democratic Party. I am a conservative independent, but I could not just stomach just the hypocrisy. I mean, we have monopolies all over this economy. We have three major national cell phone providers, and T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. You've got a monopoly, in technology. You've got Android and iOS. But a lot of those monopolies were born out of just market conditions. The other companies couldn't compete, and they had to cede that market share to someone else who was more successful in those spaces. So, but for the government to intervene, for the Democratic Party, for the Biden administration to intervene into that merger, no, I mean, and everyone could plainly see that Spirit was struggling. I mean, I would go so far as to say that the next airline that we might see that has that same sort of pricing, kind of pricing program is Frontier. I think that they're going to be, because I remember that Spirit tried to do a merger with them as well, and the DOJ stood in the way. But they're doing it they're standing in the way for ideological reasons, not because they're trying to do what's best, or they even know what to do what's best for the economy.
Absolutely. Look. When they blocked the Spirit merger, it was only a matter of time. The jump in gas prices, jet fuel prices just kind of sealed the deal. And it wasn't like it was a merger between like American Airlines and United Airlines. I mean, it was a merger between these kind of, these independent small.
Correct. They had no more, even after the merger, JetBlue and Spirit Airlines, to your point, would not have had any more than 3 to 5% market share.
Right. That's right. It's ridiculous. And it would have kept those low cost flights, because I fly Spirit. I fly Southwest, but I have been a regular on Spirit and Frontier and all those airlines. You know what I mean? And it's just absolutely ridiculous. But I'll tell you, the Democrats are so concerned about a monopoly. One of the most costly monopolies in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois that's impacting taxpayers severely is the public school monopoly. I mean, the Chicago public schools are spending $32,000 per kid. 60% of your property taxes go to the Chicago public schools, not to mention the schools getting $1.9 billion in additional property taxes from the tax increment financing surpluses since 2019, which could have been given back to property taxpayers in relief because that was surplus revenue. So they just gave schools. And what are they producing?
Paul, that is such a great point. No one has been able to explain to me CPS gets money from the federal government. They get money from the state through income taxes, TIF funds. They get money from property taxes from people from property owners in Chicago. They get money from the lottery. They've got a minimum 5 different funding sources, and to your point, the best deliverable that they can provide now that they are the highest paid teachers in the nation is only 15% of children graduating from CPS are proficient in reading and math. That is abysmal. The CTU, I think we need to, as a society, look at teachers' unions in general, because if you go to the IBEW website, if you go to a plumbing union website, the first thing they say on their website is they are trying to produce the best possible employee to represent their union. And you know that by the deliverables, by what it is that they actually provide in the market in the way of their services. I am completely comfortable with going on the market and saying CPS is not failing, they have failed.
Yeah, they're a disaster. Look, since 2019 COVID, in addition to getting about 25% of all the money that the state spends on public education, 40% of all money the federal government spends on public education through the regular grant programs. In addition to that, in addition to getting, when you include the pension funding, 60% of all property tax revenues paid. In addition to getting all that money, they got an additional $4.7 billion.
Ridiculous.
$0.8 billion money.
You're breaking up a little bit, Paul. Hold that thought, because you're breaking up a little bit, and I'm coming up on our last break for this hour. Everyone, you're listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton. I'm filling in for John Anthony. Don't go anywhere, and give us a call at 312-642-5600. That number again, 312-642-5600. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
The summer heat in Chicagoland is no joke. And if your old air conditioner is making funny noises, you may already know it's time for a new unit.
Look, your air conditioner, it's a disaster. People are telling me it's the worst ever.
Don't sweat it, literally. When it comes to cooling your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Rebates are still available, financing is flexible, and at Air Right installations are smooth and professional with no surprises.
It's beautiful. Some people say it's the coolest air anyone's ever felt. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. It's doing an incredible job. Really tremendous.
Plus, tell them AM 560 sent you, and Air Right will give you $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling, doing it right since 1959.
For 25 years, Applied Mechanical Sales has kept Chicago's commercial buildings warm and running smoothly. From schools and churches to high-rises and hotels, they provide the boilers, water heaters, and exhaust systems that contractors and engineers count on. Whether it's a replacement project or a new construction, Applied Mechanical helps you select the right equipment, standard or high efficiency, for your specific application. What sets them apart? They match the right Camas equipment to your building's exact needs, so it performs flawlessly through Chicago winters for the next 15 to 20 years. And they don't disappear after installation. Applied Mechanical ensures your systems run at peak efficiency year after year. Are you a degreed mechanical engineer looking to lead a growing sales team? They'd love to talk to you. Schedule a site visit and boiler assessment at appliedmechanicalsales.com. That's appliedmechanicalsales.com.
And now, more Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Black and Right. This is David Seaton filling in for John Anthony. Paul Vallis joining us on the live line. This is our last segment of the hour. Let me grab Art really quickly. He's been holding. Art, thanks for the call.
Hey, what's going on, Dave? It's good to hear you on another radio station.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Thank you.
Here's a quick question. Yes, sir. Here's the quick question. The Democratic Party are always talking about racism in the Republican Party. Would you say, in Paul Vallis, that there is a bigger racism in the Democratic Party? Because how is that sexism and racism with Kamala Harris, if she was a qualified candidate, why would the Democratic Party be arguing among themselves and wait till the last minute to put her in place? So shouldn't they look internally with their internal racism and sexism, because they always crying that she had only 107 days when he was the president, she was the vice president, and they knew what was going on. So why didn't they do what was necessary to make sure, if they thought that Donald Trump was going to be the worst, why didn't he do the righteous and right thing? I'll leave you with that.
All right.
And what now? Focus on dealing with the black family.
Thank you for the call, Art. I just generally speaking, Paul, because we're down to our last 3 minutes in the hour. Yeah. I think it's disingenuous for the Democratic Party to continue to just play that one card when they see they're losing and they don't have another strategy, and they don't really have any good strategies. They just play the racism card. Republicans are racist, and you have certain people, I would say a plurality of black people, who are just emotionally charged when they hear that. And I think it's continuing to vote for the Democratic Party has yielded suboptimal results, especially for black people. What say you?
Yeah, look, I agree with you 100%. Look, the Democratic Party has taken the black voters for granted for as far back as I can remember, and now, you know, even in the city, despite all of Johnson's rhetoric, they clearly have prioritized illegal migrants over
absolutely,
residents, or for that matter, Latino residents who are permanent residents here. So at the end of the day, they always assume that black vote is going to be there, and they double down and triple down on the race card. I'm not suggesting that the Republican Party has not been negligent and from time to time absent on the issue of making the type of investments that need. But the Democratic Party has a monopoly. Look at the denial of school choice, or the fact that they're trying to block Illinois participation in a scholarship program
Absolutely.
that would give $800 million to parents to spend on either private school education or even supplemental public school service like tutoring and mentoring. They want to deny it just so that the unions can keep their monopoly, because of their determination not to deny poor black and Latino families any alternative to failing public schools. So
we're down to our last about 75 seconds. I already got a text from someone. I'll tell you about who sent me the text later offline, but the text reads, Paul, please run again. We love you. Are you running for mayor this next cycle?
Right now, we're looking for a candidate who not only can win, but a candidate who has the courage to do what needs to be done. So you never say never, but hopefully we'll be able to close ranks around a candidate who can really get the city moving in the right direction.
Paul Vallas, as always, it is such a pleasure. I really appreciate you carving out some time to talk to me today, and I will be in touch with you very, very soon.
Well, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Everyone, don't go anywhere. Christian Maxwell she is in what we call, she's in the queue. We're going to be talking to her next. She is running as a Republican for CD1 against Jonathan Jackson. I've got some opinions about that. Again, I've interviewed Christian Maxwell several times, just met her recently. She's such an impressive person. You don't want to miss it. Like I said, give us a call at 312-642-5600. You are listening to Black and Right, and I am David Seaton filling in for John Anthony. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Steve Wyatt, and I want to invite you to the Wyatt Matters show, which airs every Sunday on this station. You can expect lively discussion and heartfelt reflection that will both entertain and inspire you. And if we do it right, maybe deliver some genuine laughter as well. We talk about not only what matters, but also why it matters.
Wyatt Matters, Sunday morning at 6 on AM 560. The Answer. Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878. News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
The blockade continues. I'm Daria Albinger, Fox News. There are no face-to-face peace talks anytime soon for the U.S. and Iran, but the U.S. blockade around the Strait of Hormuz is still in place. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Dubai.
During the 3-week blockade, Iranian ships have been blocked, but 150 other oil tankers remain stuck in the Gulf, helping drive up gasoline prices back home to 4-year highs. 30% of fertilizer exits the Strait of Hormuz, also being affected, hurting farmers back home. There are also several U.S.-flagged merchant ships stranded in the Persian Gulf as well. Some would like to see the U.S. Navy begin convoy duties, escorting those ships through the strait like they did back in the 1980s. Now, unlike the 80s when the Navy had twice as many warships, for now, the blockade remains the teeth of this operation.
President Trump says he's skeptical about ending the conflict because he says Iran only wants to make a deal because it has no military left. Some say it was only a matter of time after a White House bailout offer fell through. Spirit Airlines has gone out of business. Fox's Madison Scarpino at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says this is ultimately the Biden administration's fault. He says they blocked a JetBlue-Spirit merger in 2024 that could have prevented this. But this all comes after years of financial issues for Spirit. It filed for bankruptcy multiple times. President Trump was trying to figure out a bailout, but that deal failed. And now with the war in Iran, Spirit says the sudden rise in fuel prices left them with no other choice than to shut down. But now other airlines are stepping up to the plate to help. Many are capping ticket prices for Spirit customers. Some are offering reduced prices. And Secretary Duffy says he's proud that airlines are doing this rather than taking advantage of stranded passengers.
American Airlines and United Airlines are reaching out to former Spirit workers. They say they're going to set up dedicated hiring portals for the employees who have been left out of jobs so they don't have to leave the aviation industry. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Tonight, expect clouds to increase. The temperature will drop to 44. Moving into Sunday, there will be a passing shower in the morning, with the rest of the day being mostly cloudy and breezy. The high will reach 66. Sunday night will bring mostly clear skies with a low of 48. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Penny Mustard presents single-seat mini sofas.
Those are not single-seat sofas.
They're plush. They have fabric, and you sit on them. So what are they?
Penny Mustard's new line of upholstered dining chairs.
Aren't they gorgeous?
These unique chairs take your dining experience to a whole new level.
The finest dining chairs masquerading as single-seat mini sofas you'll ever see.
The new upholstered dining chair collection, starting at $9.16 at Penny Mustard.
6 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Whether you're preparing for exams, juggling family and career, or just looking to stay sharp as you age, Think Factor is here to help. Created by the same company that makes Relief Factor, Think Factor supports sharper focus, stronger recall, and clearer thinking. It's the natural way to give your brain the daily nutrients it needs for memory, attention, and even vibrant vision. Call 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF, or visit ReliefFactor.com to learn more. Look, I was a little bit skeptical. I started taking Think Factor. After a few weeks, wow, my memory, my focus, my concentration, better than ever. And Think Factor results get better the longer it's taken. If you want to stay focused during demanding tasks, keep your memory strong, maintain mental energy for whatever's ahead, well, Think Factor is for you. Call 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF, or visit ReliefFactor.com to learn more and order Think Factor. Your first bottle is just $19.95. Think Factor. Think clearer, perform better daily. Call 800-4-RELIEF or visit ReliefFactor.com for Think Factor.
RedState.com captures the pulse of grassroots conservatism. Red State staff of contributors are on top of breaking news with stories and analysis that challenge the established agenda. RedState.com educates, motivates, and activates passionate conservatives across America, arming them with the facts that put them ahead of the political curve. No wonder RedState.com is a must-read for elected officials and for citizens who want to make their vote count. RedState.com is the place where influence meets action. Log on to RedState.com today.
Levio Consulting Incorporated is seeking back-end developer to work remotely on assignments to design, develop, test, and deploy high-performance back-end services. This position requires a bachelor's degree in a relevant field plus 4 years experience, including extensive skill sets. Offered salary range is $131,000 to $140,000 a year. If interested, please send written applications to the Human Resources Manager, Levio Consulting Incorporated, at jessica.nava-avendano@levio.ca.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
AM 560, The Answer. Prepare to have your mind opened. The lies of the mainstream media are about to be exposed, and the hypocrisy of the left is about to be revealed. This is a revolution in how you think about politics, race, and culture. You've tuned into Black and Right with John Anthony.
I'm coming in hot.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, and I am guest hosting today for Mr. John Anthony. Again, thank you for this great opportunity. I want to acknowledge our listeners in Chicago listening on AM 560 and our listeners in Detroit listening on AM 1400 and 92.7. Again, welcome, everyone. Give us a call. Participate in this conversation. 312-642-5600. That number again, 312-642-5600. Joining us on the live line for the second hour, I cannot express to you how impressed I have been by this candidate. She is the Republican nominee running against Jonathan Jackson for the congressional seat CD1. I've interviewed her several times on another radio show, on my YouTube show. And I actually had the opportunity to meet her about a week ago, and I know you're going to be impressed with her. Thank you for joining us today, Christian Maxwell.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me.
No, I am
Such a pleasure.
No, it is always a pleasure. It was so funny. We have to share this story. I got invited. Both of us got invited to participate in this round table that Joe. I'm spacing on his last name, but
Joe Walsh.
Former Congressman Joe Walsh was doing at the New Beginnings Baptist Church out on the South Side, and I got there right at the reported time they wanted us to be there, and I see this woman standing there. They've got this huge spread, and I looked at her and I said, "Christian?" And she said, "David?"
Right? Because we've only done radio interviews. I was like, "Wait, is that David?"
I think it was funny that the two conservatives were the only two who were on time. I just want to say that
we were on time. You are correct.
But no,
I didn't even think about that.
I just got off with Paul Vallas, and we were talking about, wait, before we even get there, because I want to give you an opportunity to share with the listeners. You just put out something on social media that you reached a milestone financially in your campaign. Please share that with our listeners.
Yes. So we have been analyzing our performance fundraising-wise, because that's a big focus right now, is to ramp up. And in our deep dive, we were analyzing how many donations we've seen Jonathan Jackson get in comparison to our own campaign, which is totally grassroots funded. He's only had about 118 donations. And the thing that literally lit me on fire is that we've had over 540 donations to our campaign. What this tells me is that when we actually go full scale with amping up the donations we've received from even the current donors, we do stand a chance of outraising Jonathan Jackson. And this week was the first week of us really being focused on fundraising. And we had our first 5-figure donation week ever since we deployed this campaign last year in April. So the results they're already there, just from a little bit of a shift in our focus with the campaign.
Well, I was actually sitting at another radio station on primary night when Jesse Jackson Jr. lost the nomination. And I was on the record saying, hey, you're telling me out of 700,000 people, you couldn't find one qualified person who wasn't an ex-con, and everybody, you know, attacked me. But I say that to say that I think the petal is off the rose, or the bloom is off the rose, whatever that saying is, in terms of the Jackson name. I think that it is very, very likely that you are going to be that you could win. Not only can you win this race, but you can absolutely, it can be an ignominious defeat for Jonathan Jackson, just because people are tired of Democrats.
Yes, they are tired, and that fatigue is going to weigh in tremendously during the midterms. The other thing that Jonathan is going to struggle tremendously on is he will not be able to beat my digital marketing campaign. He's just not. I know the nature of the types of marketers that he's going to hire. They're going to be clunky and slow and old school, and they won't be able to move quick enough because Jonathan won't be able to move quick enough. I've had clients like Jonathan. He's the type that needs a script for every video, wants to feel incredibly comfortable when he's, you know, creating some content just to talk to his constituents. And I don't need any of that. I will talk to anybody at any time, anywhere. And that is just something that he will not be able to overcome in this campaign cycle.
Well, when you and I participated in that forum with Joe Walsh, I mean, again, I think anyone who was there could say that you and I have no compunction about of voicing what it is that we believe. We were outliers in that regard. But I do want to give you an opportunity, because I saw you tweet about this also. I can't remember if it was on X or if it was on Facebook. But before I pick that up, let me pick up Mitchell. He's been holding for a minute. Mitchell, thanks for the call.
Hey, good evening, David and company. I just want to say the biggest problem we have in Illinois is that we're being fleeced by the public schools. I'm in the district where there's 5 schools that want to basically put a restoration project, and these superintendents are playing with monopoly money that's not of their own. First of all, none of them live in the district. Strike one. Strike two, they have no transparency with regards to what the actual taxpayers are paying for in terms of salaries of the teachers, their benefits, their pensions, and then having to be responsible, folks, to build the infrastructure on the front and back sides. So they're just playing with monopoly money with a sense of entitlement. And the fact is that state of Illinois, the taxpayers are paying 86% to fund these public schools. So it's a total joke, because there's no accountability. We need a DOGE specifically for these radical woke public schools, because their spending is out of control. Now, don't take it from Mitchell from Des Plaines. Pritzker, Fat Albert just said 2 weeks ago, the biggest reason why our property taxes are high is because of public schools. Same with Tony Preckwinkle, for those that are keeping track. We are in the most systemic cesspool because Democratic leaderships are in bed with the unions, the school union, that is. And they couldn't care less about saving one dime of the taxpayers, David. Do you hear what I'm saying here, Daddy-O? You want someone to go up and start talking? Go to your superintendent. And if you live in a district, make them accountable. Shove them in their face about how much they make.
Mitchell,
86%.
Mitchell, I appreciate your passion, and I appreciate the call. Christian, do you hear the anger in that voter's voice?
Oh, I can feel it actually in my eardrums. Yes, he is right though. One of the biggest harms that Illinoisans are suffering under is this dysfunctional public school system. It is one of the biggest wealth robbers, if you ask me, as well, for families that have school-age children. Simply not being able to utilize the public school system is going to, on average, take about $10,000 per kid out of the household each year. So if we think about that, it's robbing families twice, because they have to go pay for private school instead of public, and they still get taxed for the public school system.
I was just discussing this with Paul. No one has been able to explain to me to date why CPS constantly needs more money. They get money from the federal government. They get money from the state government. They get money from property taxes. CPS gets money from TIF funds, and they get money from the lottery. No one has been able, and on top of all of these revenue sources, they always say, we just need a little bit more. And specifically in the case of CPS, since you're running for CD1 and that's going to be part of your district, the deliverables. We're paying
are lower and lower.
We're paying CPS teachers. They now voted themselves to receive the highest annual compensation in the country, and only 15 single digits of students are reading and math proficient.
Yes, these are all facts. The reason that CPS continually needs more and more money is because they're trying to fund political operations through those teachers and also through the actual union. If they weren't trying to be political operatives, more than likely they would be able to put those funds to better use inside of these school buildings. We still have schools that some schools don't even have proper, have lead paint still on the walls. And you have a lot of schools that don't even have, that may not even be one-to-one with devices. Some schools, I think, even still have old curriculum books and all types of things. So it's, like there's no proof in the pudding for CPS, but they do know how to disappear funding in a really just tremendous way. What we need to see is them focus on actually using national standards for reading instead of creating their own inside of Illinois and also CPS. We need them to actually adhere to the national report card and actually follow real standards for literacy instead of just bringing them down lower and lower to make it seem like students are proficient in reading, when in all actuality, we do not see proficiency in reading. And literacy is one of the biggest gateways to success for children and adults. So that is the biggest hurdle that we have to see CPS start to focus on, because right now they're focused on everything but getting kids reading.
And you made such a great point. I'm actually we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to play this sound. You are 100% right. I can't think of a recent politician who has been more nakedly political about using our children as props more than Dr. Stacey Davis Gates and Mayor Brandon Johnson. And May Day that happened yesterday is exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody, you're listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, filling in for John Anthony. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Christian Maxwell.
For over a decade, AM 560 has marked the start of summer with a night of cigar smoking and great conversation. And this year, we're proud to welcome the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News to Cigar Night. He's Alex Marlowe, and he'll join AM 560's Dan Proft and Sean Thompson on Tuesday, May 19th at Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove for a night you won't forget. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Firago, the immune enhancement cocktail.
Here's a tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Hot foot it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Platform safety is critical at your commercial and industrial facility. Keeping people safe and meeting OSHA requirements isn't optional. That's why Vans Industrial offers free platform inspections by professional structural engineers who know exactly what to look for. Problems with platforms, ladders, or stairs can lead to costly fines or worse. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to protect people in your facility.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. With decades of experience, I bring long-standing industry knowledge from inspecting, correcting, and replacing countless platforms to make facilities safer. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor equipped to modify or replace steel catwalks, handrails, stairways, and ladders. Our union building trades professionals fabricate and install high-quality steel systems that create safer work environments.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free platform inspection by professional structural engineers. See what else we can do for you. Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANSindustrial.com.
Let Cole Digital turn your outdoor space into the ultimate entertainment setup. With a 75-inch SunBright outdoor TV that can stay out year-round and great sound throughout. like planter speakers on the patio, high-quality rock speakers that blend right into your landscape, or bronze garden speakers that blend into the environment. Our technicians will dig a hole and install an in-ground subwoofer for incredible bass and the best in sound quality. We also install outdoor rated access points for Wi-Fi coverage throughout your yard, and cameras that let you keep an eye on everything with motion-activated recording. Tour our Cole Digital Design Center, 15,000 square feet of audio, video, and great design ideas. Cole Digital is family-owned by conservatives that share your values, and we're based right in Frankfort. Visit Cole Digital today and schedule your consultation. ColeDigital.com. That's KOLE digital.com, or call 815-469-2000, and we'll bring the showroom to you. 815-469-2000. Cole Digital, what smart living is all about.
Black and Right continues. Once again, here's John Anthony.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Black and Right. I am David Seaton, filling in for John Anthony. And thanks to everyone listening in Chicago on AM 560 and in Detroit on AM 1400 and FM 92.7. Don't forget to go to Amazon and check out John's book, Letters to John Boy. You can order that on Amazon right now. It is a great book. Joining us on the live line is Christian Maxwell. I've got to pick it up right there where you talked about politics, and I'm going to play this sound from May Day, and then we'll pick it up on the other side.
After a rally on the near west side over at Union Park, all those people, or a good deal of them, are now marching down here to Daly Park. Police estimate the crowd at the rally was a couple of thousand people. The message today was one about standing up for workers' rights and union rights and immigrant rights and more, and calls to keep up the fight. The fight for workers' rights took to the streets of Chicago today, where the movement got started 140 years ago with the Haymarket Affair. This was a day that unions flexed their muscle in a call for unity and power.
We can form coalition that's old and young, and we can find coalition and workers throughout every industry in this country. I am saying to you today, workers, that we must not just secure our democracy, we have to expand our democracy.
The rally.
That's Stacey Davis Gates speaking at the rally. They gave students who wanted to participate, they provide. This is where we're talking about this money. They're giving the children buses. They're going out and paying for the permits for these events. They're going out and participating in it. And you have Dr. Stacey Davis Gates speaking through a bullhorn, talking to these children who are in attendance about labor rights. But these children are unemployable. You're unemployable if you can't do basic math and reading when you graduate from high school.
Yes, you are 100% correct. I actually spoke to a few children because I actually went down there, and it was one of the most. Some of the people I literally looked face to face with looked like they wanted to almost murder me. That's one thing I will say. They have so much vitriol in their spirits. It really is sad to see. But that entire performative movement, they had to literally aggregate about 50 different quote unquote movements in order to amass the group that they had yesterday. So everything from trans rights to the CTU battles to Iran, Palestine, like they had a sign for everything. And that's how they were able to get everybody together in a rage fest to have that display yesterday. But this isn't about labor rights. It's not about laborers. They actually don't care much about laborers at all, because if they did, they would stop pilfering people's paychecks here in Chicago and raising property taxes and all of the other taxes the way they do, and the different organizations and things that are advocating for those things to happen. So it's not about laborers at all. It is about controlling people. And if you have a control over people's paychecks, that is how you have the most docile population ever. Stacey Davis Gates is one of the biggest cancers in this city. She's most definitely worse than Brandon Johnson. He's a puppet. Anybody who understands power dynamics, you can look at Brandon and tell that he's not the one in control of anything. Stacey Davis Gates is the true operative in this city, and one of the people who needs to be driven out of Chicago in order for Chicago to actually heal.
So you homeschool your children, and you've shared that before. And I don't want to pretend like this is just a Chicago issue. This is an Illinois issue, and more than that, it's a blue state issue. We see the same things that we see in Illinois and California. We see them in New York. We see them in Massachusetts. You see them in blue states throughout the country, even Colorado. There's only two things that we can do in my mind. The most important thing that I think we need to do is that we just need to get rid of the Chicago teachers. We need to get rid of teachers unions. Teachers unions have had an unintended consequence. The genesis of creating these unions was to protect good teachers, but it has devolved into protecting all teachers, good or bad, irrespective of how they are negatively impacting the students, which is supposed to be their primary charge. But the only way that we're going to do that is to get rid of unions. The only way we're going to be able to get rid of unions is that we've got to get more Republicans, more conservatives in these state legislatures so that we can enact the laws to get rid of some of these unions. So what say you on that?
My biggest bone to pick with specifically this Chicago Teachers Union is Chicago has this really bad habit of not ever wanting to benchmark things off of performance. Performance does not matter here. Outcomes don't matter. People rely on entitlement as opposed to the production that they've shown at whether it's being a teacher or whatever their role is. A union is not designed to rob people of good services. A union is supposed to be to advocate for fair working environments and fair wages. But what we're seeing here in Chicago is a perversion of the union model to basically create little militaries or little militia groups of these different industries all throughout the city so they can quickly consolidate whenever they get ready. That is not what unions are supposed to do. It's also a really easy way for those same unions to manipulate and control the people inside of the union groups, because what they will do is go and look at these people's voting records. I have actually talked to people who are in unions, people who have actually, some of these people signed my petition, and they are being coerced into voting the way the union wants them to vote. That is not okay. That's not what a union is supposed to be doing. They're not supposed to be prying into how people are voting and looking to see, oh, did you vote the way we told you to vote? And then intimidating that person on the back end. The Chicago Teachers Union also does need to be, they need to be brought under federal conservatorship. They do. They're not transparent with how they utilize funding in their organization. Their own members have been begging for transparency on where their money is going. Yes. And they are reluctant to give that visibility to their own members. That therefore means that they have a responsibility to become responsible to their actual membership. And because they have not done that, they should be brought under federal conservatorship to ensure that the actual members in that union are being represented. And right now they are not.
If you have a question for Christian Maxwell, or if you have a question about whether or not there are too many Democrats in charge of Springfield and Illinois, give us a call at 312-642-5600. That number again, 312-642-5600. So I think you and I know you and I are calibrated on the unions are doing more harm than good. And to your previous point, this would not happen in any other part of our society. If the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers worked on a skyscraper and that skyscraper burned down from an electrical fire, they would be held accountable. If a plumber's union came to, if you called a union plumber and they came to your house and they did some work in your house, and then the work that they did cost you more, they messed up your sump pump or your sewer pump and it reverse flowed the sewage into your house instead of out of your house, you would hold that plumber accountable. Teachers seem to be just immune from, well, as soon as they become vested and they are in that union, unless you do something extreme like touch a kid, it's almost impossible for a teacher to lose their job. And if they were, like I said, if their deliverables were better, maybe you could make the argument about, creating that veil of protection. But they've got kids showing up to May Day, and the very kids who are there probably can't read and count the signs that they're holding.
You know, when it comes to the school situation, because I know, like I said, obviously with teachers, it's easy. The dynamic automatically becomes, well, the parents need to do their part as well. I can understand that. My big bone to pick I have to go and relate this back to an Obama situation. And people will always get mad at me for bringing up Obama. But the current situations we see inside of classrooms actually does originate from a very specific action Obama did. So in 2014, it was in January, he issued a Dear Colleague letter. And this Dear Colleague letter specifically focused on public schools and how they needed to avoid racially discriminatory school discipline policies. What it did, though, was that it kind of irrevocably changed how schools apply discipline to students in order to create an ecosystem where teachers actually had some type of leverage over students. What we see today and how destabilized the classroom is and how teachers feel like they can't control students, it started because of him in 2014.
I love that point. We're going to put a pin right there. We're going to take another break. Everybody, you're listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, filling in for John Anthony. Again, give us a call, 312-642-5600. This is your opportunity to talk to a Republican candidate for Congress, CD1. Again, you're listening to the John Black and Right. We'll be right back.
Hugh Hewitt says the Democrats aren't in touch.
You know, I watch this low IQ guy, Hakeem Jeffries, and he's always ranting and raving, oh, this war is so terrible, terrible. They shouldn't be saying that when we're in the midst of a negotiation.
The president is not wrong. They don't really understand America at all, and I don't think that Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer speaks for the average Democrat. They certainly don't speak for the military. They don't speak for me.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Fox News, I'm Angelo Bavaro. A War Powers Act deadline has arrived amid the U.S. conflict with Iran.
It's now been more than 60 days since the start of the war. The War Powers Act gives the president 60 days of military action before needing Congress to vote. The White House argues that the deadline does not apply here because of the ceasefire and that hostilities have terminated.
Fox's Alex Hogan, the maker of an abortion pill, filed an emergency request with the Supreme Court today, asking it to pause a lower court's restriction on that medication.
The U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled mifepristone can only be given to patients at in-person clinics, meaning no more getting the pill in the mail.
Fox's Jill Nato. Travelers still scrambling after Spirit Airlines' sudden shutdown. The budget carrier says it was crushed by surging fuel prices due to the war in Iran. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know a will alone does not keep your family out of court when you die? The court still has to approve your will, but get a living trust, and your estate can be settled clearly without issue. Talk to the attorneys at Nauman & Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee, no surprises, no hourly rate. With decades of experience, they know the law and offer a free consultation. Contact Nauman & Associates in Elk Grove Village, nalawgroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
Estate planning lawyer and CPA Bob Carlson has been called America's #1 retirement expert. Tens of thousands of American retirees trust his advice. But his latest bombshell sounds almost too good to be true. It's a way to boost Social Security income and collect more on every Social Security check and create a lifetime monthly income stream 100% tax-free. So today, Bob has made it his mission to give retirees and future retirees the full story in a free report. Log on now to retirementwatchreport.com to get yours. This retirement strategy is fully approved by the IRS, even though less than 1% of Americans know enough to use it. Nobel Prize-winning economist and MIT professor Robert Merton predicts this strategy will become one of the key ways to fund retirement in the future. Log on to retirementwatchreport.com to get your free report. That's retirementwatchreport.com. retirementwatchreport.com.
In his new movie, The Dragon's Prophecy, Dinesh D'Souza brings the new Middle East into focus with a message of perseverance, faith, and a shared global destiny.
Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be somehow tied to this place?
At long last, we have peace in the Middle East.
Israel and Christians are coming together in a way they have never been before, since the book of Acts.
But is this the end of Hamas and radical Islam? What does the Bible say?
We have to become fighters in the spirit for God. We don't accept what the enemy wants to do with our culture. We don't accept what he wants to do with the nation. If we keep fighting, we win.
Powerful, prophetic, a must-see movie based on Jonathan Cahn's international bestseller, The Dragon's Prophecy, combines history and scripture with faith, justice, and renewal. The Dragon's Prophecy, a new film by Dinesh D'Souza, now available on Amazon, YouTube, and iTunes.
The first Top Shelf Country cruise promised big, and it delivered. Now the bar's set. If you were there, you know. If you weren't, it's time to get on board. Set sail aboard the Celebrity Summit in March 2027, where laid-back luxury meets country fun. We're talking toes in the sands of Bimini, fun in the sun in Key West and Cozumel, live band karaoke, trivia, bingo, and performances from Riley Green, Chris Young, Lauren Elena, Randy Houser, and more. Lock in your cabin now at TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
The Danielle Gill Podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
Actually lowering prices has rarely ever been an accomplishment a Democrat could even claim. The Democrat modus operandi is to use each crisis as an excuse to pass legislation which increases spending, gives more power to the government, and which will make new crises which they can't then use as an excuse to pass more horrible legislation.
Subscribe for free today on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com. It's the show the mainstream media doesn't want you to know about. It's Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, and I am guest hosting today for John Anthony. Thank you for listening in Chicago on AM 560 and in Detroit at AM 1400 and 92.7 FM. Joining us on the live line is Christian Maxwell. She is the Republican nominee, and she is running against Jonathan Jackson in CD1. So I think you and I are in 100% agreement. I wonder, is it possible to pass a law at the federal level in Washington, D.C. to put some prohibitions around how teachers' unions can spend money? I know that probably their visceral response would be to sue and say it's a violation of their First Amendment rights. But therein lies the issue, is that their number one charge is the education of their students. And to your point earlier, especially here in Chicago, Dr. Stacey Davis Gates, her number one priority is politics and using those funds that she has access to under the CTU to further a political agenda.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and when we're looking at, teachers unions, the interaction between the federal government and a teachers union is very much so a stringent one. It's a difficult one to kind of navigate. It really is going to come down to empowering citizens at the local level, also local government. But then if we're looking at those federal funds like Title I, IDEA, and all of those things, we need to see, these funds do need to be tied to outcomes. Because right now we are not seeing, and the citizens of Illinois are not seeing the outcomes they need to see to even be able to utilize a public school system that is for them. So if we can't get student performance to actually start to mirror the amount of funding coming into these schools, then we have an issue. And I think that using tools like federal oversight is very much so a real way to gain some type of control over the Chicago Teachers Union. Because I think the goal is not to attack teachers, but the goal is to make sure that the teachers union is actually functioning in a way that it should be, as opposed to being at the detriment of the citizens of Chicago.
That's the one thing that I do like about Donald Trump, is that he is willing to say to these states, to these blue states,
Yeah.
hey, if you're going to go way far to the left, then guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give you the money. You're going to...
You can't take the money with you on that trip, this trip all the way over. Because here's the thing, most people across the country are pretty much in the middle. I think you even brought this up.
Yes.
Like most people are not residing in a far left ideology. They really are pretty much in the middle on most topics. So why would we allow for a far left organization like the CTU, Chicago Teachers Union? Why would we allow for them to have all of this funding and take it off with them on a journey to socialism?
Yes.
That's not suitable.
And that's exactly what it is. I've gone on the record to say about Brandon Johnson specifically that he's a communist. You know, I mean, if you really look at and that's what's that's what's so unfortunate. I mean, you and I are both conservatives. You're a registered Republican and running for the Republican nomination. We need to destroy this narrative that if you're white and you're Republican, you're racist, and if you're black and you're a Republican, you're a sellout or something's wrong with you. You and I just don't believe. I mean, you just had it. The new rules that came out yesterday about food stamps that you have to work you have to either work, volunteer, or go to school 80 hours a month. There are some people who work 80 hours a week.
Yes, literally. Like, we can't. I think that we've really lost touch with reality. When somebody's saying, hey, you need to actually work to cover some of your own costs, how does that become like racism and warfare? That is an expectation of all of us in society. And one of the things I'm most focused on as a person who's running for Congress is deeply getting shoulder to shoulder with actual middle-class Americans who get ignored by all politicians.
Yes.
We have to focus on the fact that the people in the middle, they pay full price for everything and get taxed almost sometimes at the top of the bracket. They are losing more money in taxes and then paying full price for every single thing, and nobody ever sends them a life raft or considers the losses that they take on a daily basis. Yes, you do have to pay for some of your groceries on your own or show that you're going to work if you're getting government funding. That is a reasonable expectation. It's not racism or warfare against you.
I think people forgot, especially the recipients of SNAP, that the S in SNAP stands for supplemental.
Supplementation.
The definition of supplemental means you already have something and I'm just giving you a little something to prop you. But you've got people out here who 100% of their food budget is SNAP benefits. So to them, it does look like, oh, they are coming for our stuff, but it was never supposed to be the way that it is now. I've got Thomas. He has a question for you, and he's holding. We're going to take another quick break, everyone. You're listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, filling in for John Anthony. Don't go anywhere, and feel free to give us a call at 312-642-5600. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Give me an extra large deep dish with sausage and green peppers.
Sir, this is Hassleus Mattress.
Throw in some breadsticks, too.
We don't have breadsticks.
Oh, well, give me some of them mozzarella sticks then.
We don't sell pizza. We sell mattresses from Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, and more for way less.
I think I've got a coupon somewhere.
You won't need a coupon for these everyday deals. Others sell a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Queen Elm Cove A mattress for $1,459, but Hassleus has it for just $794.
Running any specials?
Yes. Through Monday, get an additional $248 off your new Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic mattress just for shopping local.
Do you deliver?
Free next day delivery and haul away of your old mattress.
Great. Step on it, will you? I'm really hungry.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassleus.com.
Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, launching a new project, or just looking for that extra edge, your brain is your most valuable asset. Now there's a way to support it every single day, Think Factor. From the makers of Relief Factor, Think Factor is built to help you stay sharp, nurture your memory, boost your attention. It unlocks the mental clarity and precision you need to stay ahead of the game, no matter the challenge. After a couple of weeks of taking Think Factor, I noticed a dramatic difference in my clarity, my focus, even my memory. And look, the longer you take Think Factor, the better it works. This is not a one-off. You want to take Think Factor regularly. If you're a go-getter who refuses to settle, Think Factor can help you perform at your best and keep your edge. Call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF, or just visit ReliefFactor.com to order Think Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. Your first bottle is just $19.95. Think Factor. Think clearer, perform better daily with Think Factor.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
This is Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, and I am guest hosting for John Anthony. Make sure you get over to Amazon and look and buy his book, Letters to John Boy. Christian, while we were on break, a bunch of calls came in, and they want to talk to you. So I'm going to go ahead and let's let you talk to your supporters.
Yes.
We've got Thomas calling from Chicago. Thomas, thank you for your call. Go ahead and pose your question to Ms. Maxwell.
Hey, thank you so much for taking my call. Great conversation, guys. Let me say that off top. And I guess what I'm wondering, I thought I heard you say something about federal oversight for the unions.
Yes.
And I thought that begged an obvious question of, with the dismantling of the Department of Education, then who would lead this what department, I guess, would lead this federal oversight? Additionally, if I'm not mistaken, I thought I heard the guest say that we are largely where we are because of a letter that President Obama wrote. And I didn't hear any mention of No Child Left Behind, which was an actual policy. And I didn't hear anything about, again, the dismantling of the Department of Education, which was actual policy. So I'm trying to absorb the idea that a letter has more, there's something that wasn't an executive order, did not matriculate through the halls of Congress, could have more influence on our current educational deficit than actual policies. Thank you. That's my comment.
No, appreciate the call, Thomas. Go ahead, Christian.
Yes. So if we're talking about the literacy crisis that has been happening in Chicago for over a decade, if not longer, how would the dismantling of the Department of Education have either caused this or even exacerbated it when it's still even in progress and hasn't even completed? So that would be my first point. So if we're talking about what has caused detriment inside of classrooms right now, we do understand, and there's multiple points of research that has confirmed that the lack of discipline and the lack of accessibility to being able to actually suspend a student from school has created an imbalance in power inside of classrooms. This is something that is known to be a fact. When students don't have there's no real route to kind of bring things back into control, of course you're not going to be able to actually teach these students, because what is the recourse for for actually getting them to kind of submit inside of that classroom environment. Yes, the No Child Left Behind infrastructure that was laid down was also very problematic. If a student needs to be held back, they should actually be held back so they can actually get that coursework and those requirements under their belt. That is something that I wholeheartedly agree with. But I did have to make that point about that Dear Colleague letter because many people have noted it as a key breakdown in how policy changed. He put out that Dear Colleague letter, and school districts across the country changed how they looked at suspension and expulsion policy as a result of Obama's Dear Colleague letter. So that's why I did have to bring that up.
And I want to just say to the and let me just say to the caller, the federal Department of Education still exists. Under the Trump administration, they've tried to, give some of those responsibilities to other people, but that department still exists. But here's something else a lot of people don't know. The Department of Education was created under the Carter administration. So it's only a little over 40 years old. I think a lot of people think the Department of Education is something that's existed, since the founding. Yeah. That's not true at all. So this is, the Department of Education, as far as being able to manage education from a federal level, is a relatively new idea. But let me go. I've got a bunch of other calls. They want to talk to you. Kelvin from Springfield. Thanks for the call.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking my call. First, real quick points. One, I am in favor of getting rid of the Department of Education. And the second point is when you start talking about the federal dollars that comes into the school board or school system, they already have requirements, deliverables. What we're missing is political will to enforce oversight on these funds. Because as a school board members, the federal government was trying to push, and the Trump administration trying to push a lot of this responsibility back to the states. He pushed the abortion issue back to the states. Now, what's happening in Illinois has a lot of corruption, but without the political will to enforce the corruption that's found. For example, it was $230 million transferred out of the road fund into Chicago, and they said, oh, that's unconstitutional. Did they say give it back? No, they just simply said it was unconstitutional. So what's happening in the school board and the school districts is the fact that you do have these actors in here, and you can go to the Auditor General website. You can track the funds.
Kelvin, I gotta cut it right there. Bruce, I didn't want to interrupt you, brother, but I got to get one more call in because we're almost at the end of the hour. Pat posted she supports you, but she wants to comment on SNAP. Thanks for the call, Pat.
Hi, Christian. Stefan from Midlothian. We have talked. Talking about the SNAP benefits, a little background. I've been a nurse for almost 48 years, most of it in the emergency department. So what can they do about resolving the SNAP benefit program so that they can make sure that people are buying healthy foods, not junk food?
Absolutely.
Because that's how it was years ago. Mm-hmm. And 35% of Black Americans developed cardiovascular disease.
Mm-hmm. And diabetes.
In Washington.
Absolutely.
Right. Yes. I think that, I definitely agree that this SNAP program should most definitely be paying for actual nutritious foods, because we do see the detriment that it has caused, having people literally survive off of foods that are not even actual fresh foods. So I definitely think that it should be focused on eating vegetables and having fruits and having real meats and things of that nature so people can actually thrive again.
Thanks for the call, Pat. We're at a hard break. We're going to take another quick break, everybody. You're listening to Black and Right. David Seaton filling in for John Anthony. Don't go anywhere. We're on the line with Christian Maxwell, and we'll be right back.
The Stephanie Trussell Show speaks to the heart of where you live, work, and raise your family. Every week, Stephanie brings you the conversations that matter most, from our local neighborhoods to the halls of Springfield, covering the local issues and the real solutions. Stephanie sits down with the local leaders, candidates, and everyday heroes who are fighting to make Illinois a place you're proud to call home. Stephanie is your community, your voice. The Stephanie Trussell Show, heard Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. right here on AM 560, The Answer.
President Trump has triggered a $200 billion tech disruption, and Wall Street is asleep at the switch. This $200 billion investment in chip technology could make today's artificial intelligence chips obsolete. Technology that will make today's AI data centers a thing of the past, like IBM's old mainframes. While most investors are focused on old-fashioned AI, there are 3 companies quietly building a trillion-dollar triangle that could transform every tech sector on Earth. These 3 companies are gearing up to develop and manufacture supercomputers the size of a dinner plate. Institutions like Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street are pouring more than $200 billion into this AI revolution. Investment guru George Gilder has been predicting tech revolutions for more than 40 years, including the iPhone, Netflix, and Amazon. Now he's got his finger on 3 companies whose technology will change tech forever. Log on to TrillionDollarTriangle.com to find out which 3 companies are working on what could be the biggest tech disruption since the internet. TrillionDollarTriangle.com. That's TrillionDollarTriangle.com.
You need to be tuning into the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, the radio companion to the Amazon best-selling book, Success Blueprint, How to Build the Retirement You Deserve. Each week, Michael shares strategies designed to help reduce market risk through income-generating investments that can provide steady returns. Because if you can avoid a big loss, you don't need to take big risks. Catch the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, Saturday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
And now, more Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome, everyone. You're listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton. I am guest hosting for Mr. John Anthony. Again, thank you for the opportunity, brother. We've got Christian Maxwell on the line. Christian, Glenn has a question for you because I'm going to go ahead and tease this one because you and I have been talking about this on a couple of different mediums. Glenn, thanks for the call.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I'm from Orlando. I couldn't get into Illinois. I still have family and friends. And actually, I'm in Illinois right now. I was at the luncheon with Sean this week, Sean Thompson. But anyway, I like Christian's style and approach to things, and I hope she wins. But really, I'm going to suggest that there's a debate, a town hall style debate between you and Jonathan Jackson to help differentiate between the 2 candidates, and I think you would do very well.
No, thank you for that.
I would love, yes, I would truly love to have the opportunity to do that. People need to hear what is going to be the difference between our approach to serving Congressional District 1, because that is truly what I want to go into Congress to do. I'm a person who believes in term limits. Yes. I don't think that people should go to Congress thinking that they have 20 years to work on policy. You should go with kind of like a 6-year plan in place on what you're going to do and hope to achieve. Congressional District 1 needs so much customized legislation to address key issues like women reentering the workforce. If they've been stay-at-home moms, how do we support them if they want to do that? How do we support the veterans in the district who are struggling to get employment because the skill sets they got in the military are not being recognized easily by employers, in Illinois and across the country? There's a great deal of legislation that we can work on to even address some of the criminality issues that we see. We see rackets of crime that evolves across the city, yet we still see Chicago largely looking at this crime as individual acts of crime instead of looking at it as a racket. These are things that you can start to address with legislation, and I really want to attack 4 key aspects of what is broken the most with Illinois, with creative legislation that really leans on established legislation and expands it, and then really just tries to address the core issues as far as the financial hardships, like I said, the criminality, the lack of development. These are all things that are dragging Illinois down. And I don't think that Jonathan is focused on that because most of his legislation is focused on strengthening ties with China, Africa, and then other entities of that nature. He doesn't really dig in on Illinois at all.
Don't forget about the whole milk. Don't forget.
Yes. Our kids need more dairy milk. I'm like, I love beef. I love beef. I actually do advocate for people to eat great beef.
Hold on one second, Christian. I got the last call in. Cliff, thanks for the call.
Okay.
Hey, David, thanks for taking my call. Listen, I want to switch, if I can, quickly on a national level. Now, we know that his term is going to end. So my question here is, and I'm all in favor of black empowerment, is there a black candidate that the Republican Party has in mind that would be a good replacement for Donald Trump? And that's what I'm looking for, black empowerment. So respond to that. Or who would you like to see to be a black candidate?
Appreciate that. Do you have anyone in mind, Christian, other than yourself?
Well, I'm not looking to run for president, I don't think, ever. But I think that what we're all looking for is just candidates who are focused on getting America back to the core of what it's supposed to be about. If a candidate is looking to support the American dream and they want to support American families, that is what we are most looking for from any candidate. So I'm not necessarily looking at it from a, let's look at the race first, because that's how we end up, with candidates like Obama, who created a lot of damage,
yes,
and didn't really do much at all for black people in general. So I think that we really do need to see, is the candidate actually invested in people? Because we've actually seen much more investment in the black community from Trump than we have from Obama. He largely focused most of his efforts on the LGBTQ community.
We're right at the end of the hour, Christian. We're right at the end of the hour. Please tell everyone your website and how they can support your candidacy.
Yes, we are looking for people to donate $25 if they can to the campaign today. It helps so much. So go to unitecd1.com, unitecd1.com to make a donation today and to get to know my campaign. Thank you.
Christian Maxwell, we will be in touch because I'm just going on the record. I am challenging Jonathan Jackson to come on any of my platforms for this debate. Christian, thanks you.
Here's the tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX road in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Hot foot it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Grounded for good. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox News. Spirit Airlines has ended operations after bailout talks with the White House fell through. Well, now travelers are stranded.
We're college students, we're internationals, and I was just heading to Miami for one night, and then I was flying back home. And I just got that email. Now I'm trying to find a solution to it. I don't know what to do. There's no flights available on other airlines.
Add to that mess, employees are also out of work.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says this is the Biden administration's fault. He says they blocked a JetBlue-Spirit merger in 2024 that could have prevented this. But Democrat Senator Elizabeth Warren pointed out that the judge who blocked the merger was appointed by Republican Ronald Reagan. But this all comes after Spirit filed for bankruptcy multiple times. President Trump was trying to figure out a bailout, but the deal failed. And now with the war in Iran, Spirit says the sudden rise in fuel prices left them with no other choice than to shut down. But now other airlines are stepping up to the plate to help. Many are capping ticket prices for Spirit customers. Some are offering reduced prices. And Secretary Duffy says he's proud that airlines are doing this.
That is Fox's Madison Scarpino. Talks between the U.S. and Iran are continuing even as the ongoing U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz leaves oil tankers stranded.
President Trump, sounding very skeptical, says he's not sending any negotiating teams to Pakistan anytime soon. Now, Trump says the blockade will remain until Iran makes nuclear concessions and reopens the strait. He's also threatened to resume airstrikes and end the ceasefire. The Pentagon says the U.S. blockade has cost Iran about $5 billion in oil revenue. Storage tanks are filling up. Oil production could cease in the coming weeks. Now, Iran has been here before. Their oil production fell sharply from 2018 through 2020 when sanctions were ramped up during the Trump administration's max pressure campaign.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Tonight, expect clouds to increase. The temperature will drop to 44. Moving into Sunday, there will be a passing shower in the morning, with the rest of the day being mostly cloudy and breezy. The high will reach 66. Sunday night will bring mostly clear skies with a low of 48. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
The first Top Shelf Country Cruise promised big, and it delivered. Now the bar's set. If you were there, you know. If you weren't, it's time to get on board. Set sail aboard the Celebrity Summit in March 2027, where laid-back luxury meets country fun. We're talking toes in the sands of Bimini, fun in the sun in Key West and Cozumel, live band karaoke, trivia, bingo, and performances from Riley Green, Chris Young, Lauren Elena, Randy Hauser, and more. Lock in your cabin now at TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
The law group you know and trust, Nauman & Associates, is expanding into commercial litigation. When disputes can't be resolved, get the strategic guidance from a litigation lawyer who will fight for your rights. Attorney Richard Cannon brings both strong courtroom and dispute settlement skills. We believe most cases can be resolved without costly courtroom battles, but we prepare as if a trial is possible. When your company needs to stand its ground, contact Nauman & Associates in Elk Grove Village. For a consultation, visit nalawgroup.com.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Croscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Croscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Croscom.
Call Croscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Croscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Croscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Croscom.
Croscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Croscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CroscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
AM 560, The Answer. Prepare to have your mind opened. The lies of the mainstream media are about to be exposed, and the hypocrisy of the left is about to be revealed. This is a revolution in how you think about politics, race, and culture. You've tuned into Black and Right with John Anthony.
I'm coming in hot.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, and I am guest hosting for Mr. John Anthony today. Thank you to everyone listening on AM 560 in Chicago for our final hour. Make sure you get to Amazon and check out his book. Letters to John Boy. I don't know how I had it in my head and then I mixed it up a little bit. If you missed the first 2 hours of the show, make sure you go back. We had a great conversation with Paul Vallis in the first hour. Christian Maxwell just joined us in hour number 2. I really, like I said, I've had the privilege of interviewing her several times, meeting her in person. I can't tell you how impressed I am with her. And she is, in my opinion, a much, much better alternative, a much better choice for CD1 than Jonathan Jackson. He's had his opportunity. Again, his brother Jesse Jackson Jr. was rejected. I think there's a good chance that he is going to be rejected as well, just because people are tired of the far left progressive promises that continue to be made election after election, and there's no actual tangible returns on investment in terms of your vote. So in this final hour, joining us on the live line, again, I've had so many opportunities to talk with this man. I've met him in person. Again, he and I think at this point would even go so far as to call ourselves friends. And so I count that as a privilege. Joining us on the live line, former superintendent of the Chicago Police Department, Eddie Johnson. Welcome to Black and Right.
Thanks, David, and I certainly consider you a friend at this point.
I didn't want to just be so presumptuous. That's why I said I could. But no, again, I admit you and I always have great exchanges, and I wanted to bring you on. I wanted to finish this show about specifically Chicago, just because we're into the second day of May, and we've already seen violence in 2026 take a spike. And you were actually on WFLD on with Tia Ewing, and you said this.
Well, after years of decline, Chicago shootings are ticking up in 2026. The city has seen 105 homicides through the first week of April, up slightly from 98 killings seen in the same time period in the year of 2025. And according to city violence data, another 266 people have suffered non-fatal gunshot injuries since the start of the year. Summer has not even started yet, and many people are concerned the warmer weather may bring more violence. And here to weigh in on this is former Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson. Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Tia.
This is an important topic, and it impacts everybody. We're talking about people that live and work in the city. What is your reaction to hearing that shootings are up so far in 2026?
Tia, as I said when I was sitting in that chair, crime is cyclical. So the fact of the matter is the police could be doing everything right, and it still go up. So you have to, monitor the stats in real time, see where the trends are, see what people are doing, and monitor social media, and then act accordingly.
You've said that before. Explain to our listeners what you mean when you say there's a cyclic nature to crime.
So what I mean by that, David, is that, as I said with Tia Ewing, the police can be doing everything that they can be doing, and crime will still go up. And at the same time, they could do nothing and crime would go down. So because, when we look at the crime stats from last year, nationwide crime went down. So it does go in cycles. It'll increase and decrease on its own. But then what we throw at it in terms of the police and the communities, that can have impacted also. So we can't just sit on our laurels and say, okay, last year was a banner year, and that's good, but it's hard to maintain those numbers in a city like Chicago because, quite frankly, criminals do things in Cook County that they wouldn't do in DuPage and Will counties because there's less accountability in Cook County.
It's so interesting when I hear you say that, and you are correct. We've seen crime go down nationally, but let the Johnson administration tell it. Specifically, the mayor, he would have you believe that it's 100% a function of his summer job programs for youth and opening up a mental health clinic in Roseland and having some new affordable housing in the pipeline. He would have Chicagoans believe that those are the things and the reasons why crime is down. But like you just said, it's down nationally. That's what makes it so difficult for a lot of people to take him seriously, just because he's so often intellectually dishonest.
Yeah, listen, the mayor has put in some programs, but let's be clear about one thing. The decreases that we see, if we are going to say that programs are impacting it, those are programs from years ago, because it takes programs some time before they get some traction to actually impact anything. The things that impact crime immediately are police strategies and people in the community that are out there, trying to help also. But the programs that the mayor has put in, no, that hasn't impacted the crime last year, this year. Now, it will eventually help, but those are long-term solutions. The short-term here today in real time, it's really the police, like I said, that have the most impact on crime.
For those of you out there who are listening, if you live in the city of Chicago, give us a call at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600, and we want to hear from residents of Chicago. Do you have you experienced a decrease in crime? I would go so far as to say, Superintendent, that not only is it cyclical, and not only did we see crime go down because we saw it go down nationally, I would even take it a step further. When you take things out of the city like ShotSpotter, when you have a culture in the most dangerous parts of the city where people, when they hear gunshots, a lot of times people are not even calling. Who was it? It was the principal of Whitney Young that he was driving and someone shot an automatic weapon at his car, and someone called the police the first time, but then when you keep watching the footage, someone else was shooting and 911 didn't get a call when whoever the person was shooting shot the second time. So even if you wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, we know we're not getting the same intelligence because ShotSpotter is gone. We know people are not calling. And then on places like CTA, on the Red Line, a lot of that crime is not reported because people don't have any confidence that anyone's going to be held accountable.
You're absolutely correct. And I tell people, I did a speaking engagement a couple of weeks ago, and a question was raised. Well, Superintendent, they say that the number of calls concerning gun violence has gone down. Well, yeah, because we already knew 75%, I think that's somewhere around there, 75% of shots being fired in black and brown communities aren't reported to 911, which is why ShotSpotter was such an integral part of how we responded to gun violence in the city. So, of course, if nobody's calling, it's going to appear that statistically, if you're looking at the data, that the number of calls of shots being fired have gone down, when in reality, no, it's not going down. It's just that people don't call the police in the first place. So getting rid of that technology, in my opinion, was a huge mistake. And like you said, David, people just, they are so immune to it now that they either don't care or they think a neighbor is going to call. And that's just not the case in Chicago. We have so much gun violence in this city that people just don't report it like they should.
I've been in parts of the city in neighborhoods where my family lives, and I don't necessarily hang out a bunch on the west side, like I did when I was younger. But I've been in parts of the city where you will hear gunshots, and someone will say, once they hear the gunshot, they'll call the person by name. Oh, that's just, Tyrone over there, because they know that Tyrone has this type of gun that has a certain, signature, or certain acoustic signature. So, I mean, people are, like you said, I think people are just almost numb at this point because, like I said, a kid can get arrested for carjacking someone and then before they get to their first court date, they're arrested a second time for committing the same offense. And if people perceive the system as one that they don't have to take seriously, then they're not going to modify their behavior. Hey, I've got a call holding from Detroit, and then I've got to play some more sound because we've got to talk about this latest closing of a Walgreens in Chatham and how all these black aldermen are pulling their hair out and losing their mind and talking about corporate racism. Everybody, you're listening to Black and White. I've got the former superintendent of CPD, Eddie Johnson, on with us on the live line. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
For over a decade, AM 560 has marked the start of summer with a night of cigar smoking and great conversation. And this year, we're proud to welcome the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News to Cigar Night. He's Alex Marlowe, and he'll join AM 560's Dan Proft and Sean Thompson on Tuesday, May 19th at Gobridge Farm in Pingree Grove for a night you won't forget. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Firago, the immune enhancement cocktail.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit AccessOneInc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's AccessOneInc.com. Tech made personal locally.
Your beloved dog and a stranger are both drowning. You can only save one. Who do you save? Every time Dennis Prager asks that question, his audience splits three ways. 1/3 chooses the dog, 1/3 chooses the stranger, and 1/3 aren't sure. Why? Because we live in an age where increasingly feelings define right and wrong. But if morality is based on emotion, then murder, rape, and theft are just opinions. And if people feel justified, why is rioting or destruction wrong at all? In his new book, If There Is No God, Dennis Prager explains why civilizations cannot survive without objective morality and why Judeo-Christian values shape the moral foundations of the free world.
If you claim that certain things are good, certain things are evil, independent of how you feel about it, you are in effect affirming God.
If There Is No God by Dennis Prager, available now at PragerStore.com. That's PragerStore.com. Concerned about your retirement accounts or bank savings? Tired of stock market turbulence? Or simply curious about diversifying with precious metals? Tune into The Gold Show on AM 560, The Answer. Learn how gold and silver can help protect your financial future. Discover insights, strategies, and opportunities designed to help you make smarter decisions and guide you to more confident investing. Don't miss The Gold Show this Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
A revolution in chip technology could make today's artificial intelligence obsolete. 3 companies are quietly building a $1 trillion triangle to develop and manufacture supercomputers the size of a dinner plate. Investment guru George Gilder has his finger on the 3 companies whose technology could change tech forever. Log on to $1,000,000,triangle.com to find out which 3 companies are working on what could be the biggest tech disruption since the internet. $1,000,000,triangle.com. That's $1,000,000,triangle.com.
Black and Right continues. Once again, here's John Anthony.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, and I am filling in for Mr. John Anthony. Thanks to everyone listening on AM 560. Joining us on the live line is former Superintendent of the Chicago Police Department, Eddie Johnson. Let me pick up I know I'm going to mess this name up. It reads Super Rasi Day, but did I say that correctly, brother?
Yes, you did.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the call.
Thank you. From Motown to Chi-Town, what up, though, now? How you feel, brother?
Man, everything is everything, man. What do you think about this conversation?
Okay, yeah, I want to talk about that conversation and then a couple of other ones right quick. But let's start with, I don't know if you're talking about the schools or what you was just talking about as far as the shooting in the neighborhood, but I want to start with that.
Yeah, the shooting in the neighborhoods.
The neighborhoods. Okay, I'm all about solutions. 2 solutions would be this, and there are other ones, but 2 would be this. You have to have your celebrities, not your celebrities, but your richer, upper echelon African Americans more into the neighborhoods, putting up rewards, or the government can put up a reward for people calling in. That's one. The other one would be Donald Trump. I hate to say him, but any president bringing in the National Guard and your whoever else, National Guard, ICE, to police these neighborhoods on a regular basis. Solutions. So instead of people thinking it's just okay, no way. But again, the first one, like your celebrities, or not just your celebrities, your millionaires, whether they be celebrities, entrepreneurs, African Americans got to take more pride in coming back to help out their neighborhoods and actually saying, look, what can we do? We could put up some money on a
Why is it? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Why is it the responsibility of someone who is affluent to take his or her personal resources and go into a neighborhood based solely on the fact that that individual has the same melanin as the people in these areas, and then donate their money to catch people? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Why do they have that responsibility?
Okay, a number of reasons. The first one would be this. Their cousins and their great cousins, or some of their cousins, are probably still back in the hood. So I can name so many celebrities. Yeah, you made it out, but what about your relatives or your in-laws? So that's like it's a duty for them to do that, because you got people that's in those hoods. And another one will be, if they don't do it, then who will? Because so far, look how the African-American neighborhoods have turned out without our black millionaires stepping up, stepping in, and helping out. It's a slow roll for us to get things together, because our millionaires are not stepping in properly on a number of different things.
Name for me
every African American neighborhood.
Yeah, name for me, and then I'll let you go, and I want to bring a superintendent back in. Name for me another ethnicity that does that.
I mean, I don't have to name no other ethnicity.
Exactly. Eddie, that's why I asked him that last question. No, nobody else does that. You don't see white people from Silicon Valley going to Appalachia saying, "Oh, that's probably my great cousin or my niece or my nephew living here, so I'm going to take my money to put reward." No, that's not that. People need to take accountability. That's what you and I. That's the one word that you and I use more than anything else. I'm tired of people not being accountable.
Yeah. I mean, what he just said, that sounds good, but that's just not a reality. That people are going to just put up the money like that. Of course, when you offer financial incentives for people to give us information, give the police information, that will kind of generate some leads. But the bottom line is this, David: we can't wait for someone else to fix our communities. We have to do that, and you start in your own home. If we did a better job of parenting our children and holding them accountable, then the police wouldn't have to deal with them. But see, in our communities, and I get in trouble for this sometimes with some people, but the bottom line is we have to be better parents.
Yes.
And put better products out there on the street. My kids, trust me, man, when they were little, they couldn't bring something in the house that myself or their mother didn't provide for them.
Yes.
We just didn't allow that.
Right.
But you see that a lot these days. And I'll tell you the sad part about it. In a lot of these single parent homes with just a mother in there, these young men out here slinging dope and whatever, and they are actually the ones paying the rent for the house. So mama lets them do what they want to do. And that's why we're in this situation we're in now. So the accountability has to start with us first.
And the bad part about it is that if a non-black person says that, then they're a racist. But if a black person says it, we're out of touch, or a sellout, or whatever. I was having a show the other day, and I was talking to some women, and I was saying, I was talking about the single black, motherhood, out of wedlock births. 75% of black children being born to black single mothers, and I was talking to two women, and they were acting like they had no idea what I was talking about. You cannot, to your point, you cannot disaggregate how children are raised 0 to 5, 6 years old. And then when they enter the schooling system, if they haven't been given a good foundation, then they're going to have more challenges than if they had been given one.
That's exactly right. And I tell people all the time, common sense doesn't just fall into their head. You have to teach them these things. Right. You do. You have to teach them socialization skills. And it amazes me how when I make that comment, people look at me sometimes with a crazy look on their faces because they just don't think about that. And don't get me wrong, you may not be able to cover everything with your child, but you can certainly teach them how to act properly in society. You can teach them how to be humble. And you can teach them that if it's not yours, then you don't have the right to take it from someone.
Absolutely. And this is what makes me so angry when I hear these Chicago aldermen, when they make excuses for things like this.
This next story has a lot of people talking. Alderman Will Hall is demanding answers tonight after Walgreens announced it's closing its Chatham store. In a statement, Hall says the store provides critical access to prescriptions, basic health care, and everyday necessities, especially for seniors and families. The alderman is calling on the company to explain this decision, and he's here to tell us what he's heard so far. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know, again,
I'm going to stop it right there. Alderman Hall, I've had an opportunity to interview him, and I believe he's well-intentioned. However,
yes,
Walgreens does not owe the people of Chatham an explanation why they're closing that store. Everyone knows why they're closing that store. The same reason Chatham, the Walgreens in Chatham is closing today is the same reason why the Target closed a year ago, is the same reason why the CVS closed 2 years before that, is the same reason why the Walmart closed, is the same reason why they don't have grocery stores and they're always complaining about pharmacy deserts and grocery deserts, is because these stores get robbed blind. They're no longer profitable. They're not safe. They can't keep their employees safe. Their liability is too high, and they have too much exposure. So they close the store because it's not profitable.
Exactly. And trying to get us to understand those dynamics is like knocking your head against a brick wall sometimes. Walgreens, listen, I was a patrolman in the 6th District where that Walgreens is located for 10 years, and then I came returned as the district commander. And I can tell you this, I would meet with those business owners all the time, and the amount of theft that they incurred, at some point, if you're a business CEO, if you can't keep your employees safe and the theft is just outnumbering the profit margin, you're going to close that facility. It's just as simple as that. And to your point, no, they don't owe the community an explanation, because this is for them is dollars and cents, and they're just losing too much money, because of the theft issue, to make the company profitable.
When I hear people push back on that, and I ask them, how many times would you go buy a $1,000 television and somebody breaks in your house and steals it before you would say, you know what, I need to move? We're going to take a quick break, Eddie. How about a hard break? We're going to take a quick break, everybody. You're listening to Black and White. This is David Seaton filling in for John Anthony. Don't go anywhere. Give us a call, 312-642-5600.
Scott Jennings sees an armed Iran.
That is enough material, if you enrich it just a little bit more, for 10 to 11 nuclear bomb.
So President Trump was right. The Iranians do have the material needed to make nuclear weapons. The question is what to do about it now. More diplomacy, or do they only understand the language of force?
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at noon, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Daria Aldinger. History at the Kentucky Derby. Well, Golden Tempo won the Run for the Roses at 23-1 odds, and Sherry Devereaux became the first female trainer to win the Run for the Roses. Next up, the Preakness and the Belmont Stakes. Travelers with tickets on Spirit Airlines are scrambling today to book alternative flights now that the discount carrier's gone out of business. Florida Congressman Byron Donalds tells Fox News he was not surprised to see this happen.
You have them trying to find a merger, then trying to find a bailout. The company was not going in the right direction for quite some time. We all know that. Recent jet fuel prices didn't bring the end of Spirit. That's something that's been happening for quite some time.
About 17,000 employees were laid off. Other budget airlines are now asking the federal government for help. America's listening to Fox News.
I remember sitting in the kitchen, heartbroken, overwhelmed, staring at costs and a list of decisions. I prayed for strength and reached out to Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, only to hear that Mom had already pre-planned everything so my siblings and I would be protected. Because she planned ahead, we weren't pulled apart by heartbreaking decisions.
Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5407 to schedule a free consultation.
Scott Jennings fearlessly fights back against the mainstream media on the Scott Jennings podcast.
When Republicans have even a whiff of scandal, what do we hear? Resign, step down, zero tolerance. Where is the Democratic Party? Where is the outrage? Where is the moral clarity? What do we hear from cable news? Nothing.
Subscribe for free today on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hey, Indiana, you've heard all the ads. The Washington, D.C. lobbyists are doing what they do best, funneling millions to prop up their new crony, Trevor DeVries. Why pay that kind of money for an Indiana Senate seat? One reason, because DeVries will play their game and repeat their lies. It's all part of DC's plan to buy control of Hoosier voters. With lies from Indy and ads made in Washington, they're smearing Dan Darnell. Don't believe them. The truth is this. Dan Darnell voted to ban Chinese ownership of Indiana farmland, to close all loopholes. His America First record is second to none. Darnell is a working-class guy from Northwest Indiana. He hates communists and wants to beat liberals. And he doesn't give a rip about Washington's agenda. Pro-life, pro-Trump, for lower property taxes. On May 5th, don't be fooled by the lies from the outside. Vote conservative Dan Darnell for state senate. Paid for by the committee to elect Dan Darnell.
Assistant Manager, Export VIP Beneficial Cargo Owner Accounts needed for Chicago, Illinois branch of International Container Carrying Company to assist in conducting organizational studies and evaluations of export operations for VIP Beneficial Cargo Owner Accounts. Salary, $70,200 per year. Requirements are a bachelor's in business administration, management, or related field, plus 2 years of experience in the job offered, or as business development analyst, operations analyst, or in a related position. Related experience must have been gained in the United States ocean freight or shipping industry and must have included experience with managing beneficial cargo owner accounts and analyzing international shipping trends, volumes, and costs. Send resumes to T. Scaglione, Mediterranean Shipping Company, United States of America, Incorporated, 420 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York, 10018. Reference number 248.
Do you use a Link EBT card to buy food? Please listen carefully. Rules for SNAP eligibility have changed. You could lose your benefits if you don't act soon. Visit SaveOurSNAP.org to learn about new rules, how they impact your household, and the steps you need to take to keep your food benefits. Don't wait. Go to SaveOurSNAP.org today. Sponsored by the Illinois Commission to End Hunger. Aired in cooperation with the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results, done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com, and schedule your free in-home consultation today.
It's the show the mainstream media doesn't want you to know about. It's Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, filling in for John Anthony. Thank you for the opportunity, everyone. And I have on the live line former Superintendent of Chicago Police, Eddie Johnson. Let me play some more of this sound because Alderman Hall, he's just so ridiculous, just how he's criticizing what's going on. Just listen to this, Eddie.
This is an important piece of the whole puzzle, you know, there in Chatham. What are you hearing from your residents? Was there an overwhelming number of residents that would go there for prescriptions and maybe even, you know, light things to pick up?
Yeah, well, first of all, this is the lifeline for our seniors. And what we see now is that it's going to be difficult for seniors to get basic prescriptions, number one. Number two, those who depend upon prescriptions that use public transportation. You are literally rerouting people to the closest, which would be on 75th, or the other one, which would be on Stony Island. You're taking them a mile out of their way. Last but not least, the basic home care products that anyone needs, including myself. Now, again, no access to it, and the closest one is a mile and a half away. This is unacceptable. The way they did it was tacky, and it shows a disconnect as well as a disloyalty to the community that invested in them after George Floyd.
So when I hear him say this is that this is the Walgreens is being disloyal to to the community of Chatham, this just I hate to say this, but it almost makes me want to say that some sort of business experience, some level of business acumen needs to be a prerequisite before one becomes a politician. For him to say that Walgreens did it in a tacky way and they were supposed to let the Walgreens, a private or for-profit organization, was supposed to have a town hall and say to the residents of Chatham, hey, we're thinking about closing because the theft is out of control and our employees are being put in danger, blah, blah, blah. What? And I'm going to be taking it even a step further. If the residents of Chatham in that neighborhood are not going to turn in the criminals to local police so that those individuals can be taken off the streets so that those senior citizens can then go get their prescriptions, then I don't care.
Yeah, it's not Walgreens or any business for that matter. It's not their, it's not their business to be loyal to a particular community. And I mean, we have to call it for what it is. What they're loyal to is having a profitable business.
Yes.
And once you bite into that, then they're going to look at alternative places to put their businesses. It's not their fault that we won't hold people accountable. I'll tell you this, David. When the state's attorney's office made the decision to up the amount of felony theft, that gave criminals that commit those types of crimes, that gave them undiscovered country.
Yes.
They can keep, because it's dead. And
we're talking about Kim Foxx.
Yeah, unfortunately. And Kim and I, we're good, but the fact is the fact. When you did that, then you made these businesses targets, and thieves took advantage of that. And we're seeing what the result of that is. When they go into these businesses unfettered and stealing like that, and then if the police do arrest them and they're right back out, there's no incentive for them to curtail that type of behavior.
Here's the ultimate cognitive dissonance that I experience, because a Kim Foxx or a Brandon Johnson, they would have you believe that by making the laws more lenient, that we're setting up a set of rules where black people are not over-policed or given more onerous sentences. So this is their way of trying to equal the playing field for past wrongs, for whatever inequities that they see in the system. But what they don't understand is that the unintended consequences are things like this. The unintended consequence is that when you let the 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, you don't sentence him to jail, or you raise the level of theft becoming a felony from $300 to $1,000, the unintended consequence is that kid's grandmother now has to travel farther to get her prescription medication. And the fewer Walgreens that there are, the fewer CVS's are, the fewer grocery stores that there are, you're also driving up the prices for the companies that stay behind. And they're doing all this under the guise of restorative justice, and restorative justice only works if people are going to modify or step away from antisocial behavior.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you, David, what irritates me about some politicians is that the very people they take the oath to protect are the ones that they victimize with some of those policies that are sold to the left.
Yes.
It's insane, man. It is, and that aggravates me because I know it doesn't have to be like that.
And they also forget that they're trying to protect black people by not sending them to jail, but the very people who are being victimized by those black people are other black people. So you're still doing a disservice. We're going to take another quick break, everybody. You're listening to Black and Right. David Seaton filling in for Mr. John Anthony, talking to Eddie Johnson. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey AM 560 listeners, Jeff checking in again from JeffBuysYourHouse.com. What I learned serving our great nation in the military is that every mission is unique and success starts with listening. For nearly 20 years, our veteran-led house buying team has taken the time to understand what matters most to each homeowner we serve. Every home has a story, and every seller has different needs. Whether you want a quick closing or need extra time to find your next place, we customize our approach around what works best for you. That's how we've earned hundreds of 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating with the BBB, by putting relationships first. No repairs needed, no cleanout required, and you pick the closing date that works best for your schedule. At JeffBuysYourHouse.com, we're here to help you through the entire transition, not just the transaction. Are you ready to work with a local team that takes the time to understand your home selling needs? Sell your house to the trusted source by calling us today at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or JeffBuysYourHouse.com.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneinc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneinc.com. Tech made personal locally.
What if your health insurance actually worked for you, not against you? Imagine cutting your monthly premium in half. Health Revolution offers innovative health plans that save you 30 to 60% compared to most ACA marketplace plans, with no copays, reasonable deductibles, and the freedom to see any doctor you choose. For most families, that's hundreds of dollars back in your pocket every single month. No government control, no waiting for open enrollment. These plans are available right now. If you're self-employed, paying for your own coverage, on COBRA, or just done overpaying, and you're under 65, Health Revolution will custom design a plan built around your life. Call 800-868-6187. That's 800-868-6187. Or visit save.healthrevolution.net. That's save.healthrevolution.net. Take back control of your health care today.
This is Black and Right with John Anthony.
Good evening, everybody. You are listening to Black and Right. I'm David Seaton filling in for John Anthony. Hey, Peter, is there a fifth segment tonight this hour? Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. So we've got Eddie Johnson on. I want to have this last segment with him, and then I want to just talk to the audience real quick for that last segment. Here's the final thing that I'll say about what I'm hearing from the mayor and when I hear from people like Alderman Hall. When I hear them say, hey, if we're too punitive, if we unshackle the police department and let them go out there and start arresting people, that's just going to target black people. It's just going to target black and brown people. But what they don't realize when they say that is that they're tacitly admitting that most of the crime in Chicago is being committed by black and brown people. Otherwise, what would be your objective to allowing CPD to fulfill its mandate to protect and serve?
Right. I tell you, David, it's insane to me, the logic that's used sometimes with this. Because look, I'm a law and order type of guy.
Yes.
I am an accountability type of guy, and I'm a consequence type of guy. So the bottom line is this: if black people are the ones committing the crime in the black communities, then guess what? They should be arrested and pay their debt to society. And you don't victimize the victim again by letting them right back out. You know, if they want to say we're victimizing more people in the black community, then those black people should stop committing crime. How about that?
Yeah. Here, Let me ask you this. And I know you'll have a unique perspective. It wasn't until in the early 2000s that we had a SCOTUS ruling that allowed residents of Chicago to legally possess handguns in their home. But then you had this PICA bill that was passed, and I know this from personal experience because I took a cousin of mine. He came out. I live in Will County. He came out to my house. I took him to the gun store that I buy all of my firearms from, and he went in to buy a Beretta 9mm, but they would only sell him a magazine that holds 10 bullets because the law in Illinois right now is there's a magazine capacity of 15 rounds in the state of Illinois, but 10 in Cook County and in Chicago.
Right.
As law enforcement, what is your opinion about the way the state of Illinois attempts to curtail legal gun ownership under the guise that somehow when they pass a law, that's going to impact the person who's never going through the legal process to buy a gun in the first place? A 16-year-old gangbanger is not walking into a gun store and putting down his FOID card to buy a gun. He's buying it illegally.
That's right.
So when you pass laws, you're not impacting the 16-year-old kid. You're impacting David and Eddie and law-abiding citizens.
Right. That's exactly right. So here's the thing. This is funny that you bring this up. It's ridiculous to me when you say I'm going to curtail, just like you can't carry a firearm on a CTA train. To me, that's insane. The bad guys don't play by those rules.
Yes.
They just don't.
Yes.
So who you're hurting the person that's trying to do it the right way. And if there is a possibility that those bad guys getting on the CTA train may come across a concealed carry holder, they'll think twice before they commit the crime in the first place.
Yes.
And that's the part that they're missing. That's why we don't have things like that occurring very much in more liberal states in terms of how they pass around their gun legislation. If you allow law-abiding citizens, and I'll tell you this before I finish that thought, black people are a lot more conservative than people give them credit for.
Yes.
Most black folks don't want all this lawlessness in their communities. And if you allow them to protect themselves like that, they'll do it, in a fashion where that they should do it. They're just not out here pulling out a weapon and just firing indiscriminately. No, they're firing when they are assaulted by someone.
Right.
And to me, that's fair game. If your 16-year-old tries to carjack me and he gets a piece of hot lead, then so be it. He shouldn't be out here carjacking. And then, they want to get on TV blaming the person that shot. Well, he didn't have to shoot him. Well, He didn't have to try to carjack him.
Here, final thing I want to have you comment on, because you kind of pointed to it a moment ago when you're talking about firearms on CTA. As a former law enforcement professional, is it true that criminals generally are going to go after the target they perceive to be the easiest target?
Yes. Let me tell you this, David. I tell people all the time when I go around the city speaking, even today, criminals are like water. They take the path of least resistance. They do. And I tell people, if you act like a victim, you're going to be one. So and what I mean by that is pay attention to your surroundings.
Right.
Pay attention. If you see one of them staring at you, stare back at him.
Right.
Because he'll go to the next person that's not paying attention. So you're absolutely on point with that.
You know what? And you know what the proof of that is, before I let you go? Here's the actual proof of that. One of the places where we know there are guns and drugs are police stations. Because when they take guns off the street, they're sitting in the locker. They're sitting in the evidence room. When they take drugs, they do a drug bust. It's sitting in the evidence room. You never hear about criminals breaking into police precincts to steal what's in the evidence locker.
Exactly. They're not stupid because see, that's a path of the most resistance. That's why they're not going to do that.
Eddie Johnson, It is always a pleasure. I'm going to be in touch with you, brother, so we got to get together really soon.
My friend.
All right, man. You have a great evening. Everybody, this is the final break. You're listening to Black and Right. This is David Seaton. We'll be right back after this next and our final break, and I want to talk to you.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
Salem Surround. Meet with a digital marketer today for ideas that will make your business stand out. Visit salemsurround.com.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gabe Alice, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidiscipline practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? How much should you take out and when? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor, Nolan Webster. Let's work together to make sure your finances meet your unique needs over the long haul. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Call me at 224-801-6107 to schedule an appointment. That's 224-801-6107. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
And now, more Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Black and Right. My name is David Seaton, filling in for Mr. John Anthony. Again, you are listening right now to us on AM 560, and that 3 hours flew by. So I just want to thank all of the guests this evening: Paul Vallis in the first hour, Christian Maxwell in hour number 2, and then Eddie Johnson in hour number 3. And let me tell you this, for those of you who are new to the David Seaton experience, you can follow me. You can follow the David Seaton Show on Facebook. You can follow the David Seaton Show on TikTok. But you can also follow the David Seaton Show on YouTube. And I have recent live interviews with both Eddie Johnson, Paul Vallis, and Christian Maxwell. So again, I really, you know what, and it's really, it's kind of serendipitous that I'm here tonight, because I was on a radio station, and I was on that radio station for 7 years, and I was unabashedly, unapologetically conservative. I'm not a MAGA person. I'm a conservative independent. And I cannot tell you how often that I was either attacked for my beliefs, either by my colleagues, but mostly callers. So I just want to say it's really, really refreshing to have had the experience that I've had here tonight, dealing with, all of the callers were respectful. I think this has been, like I said, a great exchange. My only goal when I interact with the public, be it on terrestrial radio, be it on social media, is that I want to encourage people to think about things differently. Think about things differently. And especially, let me just say this, because I really, really try to not talk about race. I believe racism is one of those words that's overplayed. I think people use it as an excuse for a lot of things that really are more classist or classist than racist. That said, For African Americans in Chicago, I think I looked it up the other day. As a matter of fact, I did look it up the other day because I was speaking. My publicist and I were having this conversation. Chicago has not had a Republican mayor. I don't think it was since it's been about like 96 or 97 years, right around there. And if you look at the way that black voters vote, even in presidential elections, no less than 68% of black people have voted for the Democratic candidate for president, going all the way back to Jimmy Carter. It goes as high as 93 or 95% for the 2 terms of Obama. Why is this important? Because most black people in America, especially on the left, are dissatisfied with the outcomes that they continue to see us have. Most black people would say the outcomes of black America is suboptimal. So I cannot reconcile how individuals continue to vote for the same party in super majorities, and then they're just aghast, they're gobsmacked that nothing changes. I think that's why I left the Democratic Party. And I know, like someone said earlier, I think most people are moderate, and most people, as you get older and you have a certain level of success, usually become more conservative. So that is why I believe what I believe. And I really appreciate, again, 560 AM and John Anthony affording me the opportunity to interact with you this evening. So good. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. And I look forward to interacting with you again in the future. And like I said, you can follow The David Seaton Show on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Facebook. Everybody have a great night, and I will hope to speak to you soon.
We work a lifetime to build a legacy for our families, but the most enduring